Good opening from NYXL there.
And it looks like London Spitfire will be able to take control once again.
Libero finds his third kill on the fight, and now Savior will be coming in for the finishing touches.
And London pulls it back from the brink.
NYXL, they have a ton of talent already for London, and this is looking fantastic.
Beautiful from New York.
The NYXL picking up a team kill here. What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the Blizzard Arena for the final day of Stage 1. I'm your host, Golden Boy, and I'm so excited because we have some bangers of matches today. Not only do we got the London Spitfire taking on the NYXL, we got Houston and Boston, we got Philly going up against Florida. It's going to be amazing. I'm Golden Boy, your host. Sideshow, we have my man Crumbs and the one and only Zoe down there. And Sideshow, you're going to be here all day.
I am. Why would I want to miss a moment of it? Today is going to be the best day of the entirety of Stage 1, not just because of playoffs, because some of the regular games that we've got going on, NYXL against London, Houston, Boston, these are massive games.
I feel bad for you. Yeah, because you're going to be here all day. Lots of coffee.
That's great. So is the crowd.
That's true. So is the crowd, and you guys are amazing. That's right. You guys are awesome. We got a beautiful crowd here today. But let's go ahead and take a look at the league standings and see what is going on. Because right now, the NYXL living at the top, 8-1. London Spitfire sitting there at second place. The LA Valiant, their hopes and dreams rest on the results of today, which is a very scary thought, to not be in control of your own destiny. But it is going to be exciting. Let's look at the schedule here. I touched on it before at the start of the show. Let's go ahead and lay it out for you one more time. So we got the NYXL versus the London Spitfire. That's our first matchup. Then the Houston Outlaws take the stage against the Boston Uprising. That is going to be an exciting matchup. And every single game in the Overwatch League matters, especially this one for Florida and Philly, because you want to make sure you get that W. It adds on to the end of the season, and you want to make it to the overall playoffs, right? So, you know, it's going to be great matches, and I'm really psyched for this one. But first, the playoffs, how it's going to work. So at 5 o'clock, hopefully, we are going to have the number 3 seed facing off against the number 2 seed. Then, following that matchup, the number 1 seed sits nice and pretty at the top as they watch the 3 and 2 seed battle it out. And then after that, they have to do it again and try and get that crisp 100K grand prize, you know, a little bit of a performance bonus. There's going to be some money on the line. But for now, let's go into our first matchup of the day, and let's introduce your first team. Put your hands together for the NYXL.
Yeah, they were able to protect their strats against Florida on Thursday. They feel the Pine has played a very straightforward standard game. You kind of know what to expect if they have Pine in the lineup. Likely, they did not have to split their practice time and mainly focus on their match against the London Spitfires. I can't wait to see what they have in store for us today.
Yes, and Pine isn't in the starting lineup for this first match, but you know that the style of this team is going to be similar. They play around those supports, Ark and Jonak. When you look at the statistics of the kills in across all teams, NYXL will have the highest percentage on their supports. Jonak drags out. And then you've got the man right there, Saviorbi, who man-marks the enemy DPS and shuts them down. And the tank line as well, this team is well-rounded.
That's exactly it. You have 2 DPS that are focused around disrupting the opposing DPS, but then the support role, just because the hero Zenyatta lends itself to being able to deal so much damage. That guy on your screen right there, his accuracy is just bonkers. And so he relies as a third threat, and it becomes that much more difficult for any team to deal with this team because of how much power is in their arsenal.
Man, this team is the current Kings of the Mountain Sideshow, sitting at 8-1. They are number 1 in the Atlantic Division, number 1 in the overall league, and they're looking to clinch that number 1 spot going into the playoffs. But now it's time to introduce their opponents. Let's give them a warm welcome as well for the London Spitfire. So, in that Houston game, we saw London struggle a little bit. What is going on here?
Is that a top hat?
It is.
That's for you. That's for your Sideshow.
They've instantly won me over. This is if they weren't before, this is now my favorite team. Oh, hand it to Stylosa. They've won their metagame immediately, so early on.
For the Queen. I love it. I love it.
But they did have a struggling game against Houston yesterday. They're not coming into this unbeaten.
Absolutely not, right? They went in a 3-1 series that was kind of unexpected, and I'm sure they're looking for a really anticipated rematch, but this team has to be feeling like they've got something to prove. 7-2, knowing that they can be the very best. It's all a matter of just showing up right now.
Yeah, they really struggled against Jake's Junkrat yesterday, and I feel like Coolmat had all the room he needed to get behind onto their supports. When you look at the starting roster that's being unveiled before you, you'll notice that Hagapyun and Closer, their two supports from yesterday, have been switched out with Nuss and Badoshin. So I feel like this was an area that they've had to bulk up, and they're making some changes coming in.
Yeah, but they have such a stacked lineup. They have been mixing and matching their two separate squads, and I asked them if they still have something like an A-team or like a better lineup, a main lineup, and this is what their coach Bishop replied. He said, "We are the A-team, every single one of us." He didn't use caps lock, but dramatic punctuation, and that projects even more confidence, if you ask me.
Well, that is why we say this team has some of the best players all around, right? 12 members that all legitimately can be A-team players on any other team.
This team, actually, both of these teams just have such stylistic differences, though, right? New York, we've heard it all throughout the season. They like to take the dive, right? They like to play a little bit more defensively. And then London, I mean, they could throw a million looks at you, but they do like to play aggressively. Do you think that this is going to play into London's hand because they're expecting New York to be a little held back?
It's so difficult to tell, actually, in my opinion, because we know how they usually like to play. But when you have these two juggernauts playing against each other, it comes down to the coach's strategy and the counter plays. So if you expect New York to be playing defensive, do London anticipate some kind of swap for them? So we don't know what kind of look London are going to throw into this one because they have such depth to their roster, like Zoe was saying, that they can just swap it out all the time.
That's very scary. But the playoff scenarios, Crumbs, we got to talk about this because math is hard. Okay, I'm not very good at mathematics, and there's going to be a lot of math right here because, Crumbs, you're going to get to explain it. How does this all work? Because the Valiant are waiting on results from the Houston-Boston game, but this matchup also has implications for the playoffs.
Right, so the important thing to remember is that, again, it's win-losses in every single map. So it's not just whether you win, that's your map differential, and what the London Spitfire cannot afford to do is drop this series in an 0-4 fashion. Otherwise, they will be completely out of the picture. But we are resting on Boston and Houston to be playing that last game so that they can go to 7-3. And whether their map differential will take over anybody else in the top 3 standings, they will then advance to the money matches.
That is just crazy. I don't.
It's amazing to think. It's amazing to think that London Spitfire at the moment look like either the number 1 or number 2 team, like depending on who you ask. But if they lose 0-4 here, which is a genuine possibility,
yes,
this is 2 juggernauts going up against each other. If they lose 0-4, they'll be out of the playoffs. They'll be in 4th place, and the Valiant will overtake them. That is crazy to me.
Yeah. So if New York wins, they're the number 1 seed.
Correct.
If London wins by 2 maps, they're the number 1 seed.
Correct.
If London is eliminated by an 0-4 loss.
That's correct. Quiff maps, everyone.
Quick
Nailed
maps.
it.
Quick maps, baby.
Great.
Listen, the New York public education system has not failed me today, people. Oh, boy. All right, well, I guess not much really more to break down besides some cheeky predictions.
Yeah.
So, Sideshow, what you got?
Yeah, I think that it's really difficult, actually, when you look at the map pool that we've got going on, when we start going towards Ilios and Dorado, that's normally where Pine is fielded, and that means that they have more of a one-dimensional style, I feel. I think London will be prepared for that, and they'll be able to capitalize. So even though they look like strengths for New York, I think they might get turned into weaknesses. I'm going to go with London Spitfire here. I think they're going to be able to take the game.
That's just because they came out with the hat. Don't lie.
Only a little bit. But yeah, I think they can take it. I think it'll be close. We might even see a 5th map here.
Yeah, I mean, the story of today is that it's going to be close. I'm looking at it. We basically have 4 finals in store between Houston, Boston, New York, London, and then the 2 actual money matches. But when it comes down to this one in particular, I'm looking at the map win percentages, and New York is pretty favored in a lot of these, in 2 of these maps, actually. And because of that, I am going to give them the advantage. So I think New York is going to be walking away victorious.
Oh, sorry. My girl, you're gonna be that tiebreaker. What you got?
Already. Okay. So I think one of the most important aspects is going to be the DPS battles for both of those teams. And I'm specifically looking at Birdring going up against Seb Yolby here. 2 incredible skill tracers with 2 very different kind of stylistics in the way they're playing. Seb Yolby a lot more team-oriented. He is protecting his backlines by actually taking out the DPS from the opponent team, whereas Birdring is just going straight into those backlines and getting rid of the supports. I think this is going to be the big difference maker, and I do think I give Sabiolbi the edge here. Also, generally, I do think that the DPS duo of New York is ever so slightly better, but I think it's going to be a down-to-the-wire game. I do think New York is going to have the edge. But due to that walkout, I also kind of want London to win. I'm split, but I go with New York.
You're killing me. You literally
I am so sorry.
You didn't give
I have
me
so
a
many
prediction.
opinions right now. I'm so
Oh
many
my God. Well, you know
New
what?
York, New York was my prediction.
New
in
York's
case
your
you missed
prediction.
it.
All right, fine. And you know what though? That's perfectly okay because I agree with that. You know,
Thank you.
I think New York might take this just to spite you, my
The
friend.
lone bastion of the London Spitfires.
I know, but you know what though? It is going to be a fantastic match, and I can't wait. So guys, I mean, come on, Blizzard Arena, are you with me? Because this game's going to be amazing. Let's make some noise. Let's get hyped up, baby, because it's going to be awesome. Our first matchup of the day, we got the NYXL versus the London Spitfire, and who better to tell you the story than Semler and Hex?
Warming
Come
up.
on, Hex.
Warming
I
up.
gotta get stretched out because this is gonna be a good one, man. It's gonna demand everything of us because this is going to be the top match. First seed versus second seed. It doesn't get any better than this.
They've been two of the best teams all throughout the first split here, all throughout the Overwatch League. We've got the British Empire versus the Empire State. Really hard one to call. You saw the desk correctly can really make predictions. Sideshow just going with his home country.
It's 1894. Britain is still an empire. They are still a dominant force in this world. Well, they certainly are a dominant force in Overwatch. Hex. That's right. That's right. London Spitfire are a team to be feared. Every single one of these players on this roster are monsters. So it's going to be on New York XL. Can they withstand the pressure here?
Everything's going to change as we go map to map here, as map scores really do matter. London's just got to get on the board to make sure that they don't get pushed out of the playoff picture for stage one, get their hands on some cash money. Eichenwald's going to be a tough one for him, though, because NYXL, Crumbs was mentioning some of the map percentages, they've never lost on this map.
Okay. that kind of brings everything grinding to a halt. So you're coming up against a really big wall then, you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, NYXL has the favored matchup here as far as the map pool goes, but I don't know, when you get two Goliaths like this, you never know. The momentum, I think, is going to play a big part in this as far as who comes out swinging, who gets a first fight, where are these defenses going to go? And to me, as it always is, it's all about that tracer play. Sabioldi, the final boss of all tracers in this matchup as well, but the other side of things, they got some good ones too.
You can sing the praises of soon, but Sabioldi is a monster. He is absolutely the best tracer right now in the league. And so this is going to be one of the major roadblocks standing in the way of Spitfire. There's some chop in the air. It's not all clear skies. Sabioldi, he's blowing hard today.
Running into some turbulence as New York XL rises ever upward to meet the London Spitfire. Spitfire's defense coming out in anti-dive composition defense. That means they want to stop flankers, they want to stop the divers from getting on their back lines. Flashbang from Birdrings, McCree going to do that. Prophet, of course, with Mines going to be able to do that. And also a hook in there, too. This is about as anti-dive as a composition as you can run on defense.
Exactly right. It's almost as if they had a feeling for what New York were going to throw at them, although there is one variant here. Libero will be going on the fire. So we have the Fire Mercy in play. You can already see those rockets getting into it, but this is the beauty of this lineup that London Spitfire have gone for as well. They've got the McCree, who can pick the fire out of the sky. Although, as I say that, Woohyel starting off strong. Mono is gone, and so Libero just going to chuck some more rockets in.
That's a nice start off there to be able to take down the Winston. That's such a big component of the dive composition as well to make all that space. I do believe they're going to lose their other tank down there as well, as Woohyel is going to town on his Roadhog. Right now, Libero just getting chip damage in. This is one of two things. He's trying to get his ultimate up, but all the chip damage he's doing is going to be healed up on the ground by Nusk. It gives him the ultimate advantage as far as Valkyries are concerned.
That's the trade-off that you're always thinking about. You know, is it worth going for the chip? Is it worth trying to get my barrage up? Barrage, a risky ult in itself. Nusk takes one of those rockets to the face. A follow-up would have been beautiful. That would have been the go sign for New York XL. They're just going to have to be a little bit more patient here. Sabioldi, you can see, on the flank looking for an angle, but he's going to get chased away. The Roadhog standing.
Yeah, I think he was trying to bait out the hook there as well. That lets his tanks go in without having to worry about getting hooked in and getting demacked or absolutely deleted from the map. Sabioldi's going to readjust his position, still trying to poke onto those tanks. And he's just trying to create space for his team. It's not just Tank's job, it's Tracer's job to create space as well. But Mono dies very early in this fight, will be instantly rezzed. Here comes a barrage and a great angle for Libero.
So sick. Damage is in, but Nusk, he pops the Falcon, is able to delete that to remove it. He will get that res up. Woohyel gets stuck with a bomb, and there's no running away from that one. Sabioldi there to find the kill that could make the difference for his team. JJoNak dancing around on the edge. He's still got the trance, but he hits the volley. And just like that, New York XL will take the first point.
What that Pharah does is it forces you to eventually back up. What a slow and steady push was going on there. Just keeps firing rockets. They have to back up, wait. Eventually they have to come out. But now they're going to contest here, burning and transcending it back onto the point.
Doshin sets it up. They were closer than I thought. They actually managed to get back in here and challenge. Now can they find the kills to turn this their way? Libero's still in the sky, chucking rockets in, get the bird's eye view. Totally fitting here as he is still alive. He is under pressure, and not for long. Birdring finally does his job and manages to find the kill on the Pharaoh.
They are bringing this back entirely. Meko is out of mech. He is gone. Mono does take down Birdring finally, but I don't think Excelsior has the horses to be able to stay in on. And moreover, they've been burning ults to try to contest this point, and I think they're eventually going to get knocked off of it, and they've used Primal Rage, they've used Transcend. What a great last-second defense coming back in from London. A gutsy call, and it paid off.
That's when you have to just trust in your Zenyatta. He's like, I've got Trance, we can get in here, just call, make the call, and stick to the game plan. No hesitation from London Spitfire. They get right back in, and they save it at the bitter end. Just a sliver of point left here before New York Excel get expelled from the first. A point is still in the hands of London Spitfire, and there's less than a minute left on this clock.
That's just great pressure there. They know that once New York takes that first point, they get rolling. That's why they have such a good win rate on this map. But if you can deny first, and that's where you want to all in on the defense. Jonak takes down Prophet right away, though. It's a great entry kill.
Shot after shot, and there we go. Deadeye set up, closing off these angles, limiting the room that New York still have to work with. And now Birdring can use that to trail. Whoa, he goes for the prediction shot. Gonna find the kill in the end. Zabiobi gets caught on the edge of a wall. That's it, he's done.
Zabiobi often does target the DPS on the other side of things, although Arp gets in there with a nice resurrection, brings him back up to fighting strength, still 6v6. You have to imagine Jonak is going to pop Transcend here if he gets in trouble. Very low, running on a razor's edge. York's still getting kills, though.
They are. Arc, cheeky res on Jonak, who got caught in the corner. That's the trans back in the fight, and Jonak even gets more out of it. Finds the kill on Prophet, and they finally managed to get the cap on the first point here in New York Excel. That payload going to start making progress. But this first point, it's always so frustrating how long it takes. We have 2 minutes and 30 seconds, boys. Let's go.
Well, medieval
Hold on, we
architecture.
gotta wait. Yeah, we gotta wait for the door to get up here.
The medieval architecture does not bode well for automatic doors in the era. Jonak played really well there. I was mentioning he was on a razor's edge, would have to pop Transcend, but he had Arc with the Valkyrie up, so he knew that he could die and get brought back to life, which means they will have Transcendence for the next point. Nice economy management there for the New York Excelsior.
One of the things to consider when it comes to Jonak, the man might as well be considered a third DPS. Libero right now, hashing up the bits. Defense gets broken pretty quickly. Birdring trying to have his say, but it's not going to be enough here. Not enough to challenge the payload. A lot of progress being made very early on here by New York Excel, and they're going to be feeling so good about that considering how little time they have to work with.
Oh, Birdring will pad his stats with a couple kills, but that fight was over the moment Libero took down both supports in one slash there. Able to use his ultimate, get everything he needed. Now Zabiobi lurking in the back lines, crouching so that they can't hear his footsteps. Of course, audio cue is such a big deal in Overwatch.
On the flank, that forces the trance. The stick not gonna happen. It would have got the kill through the trance, but not quite able to connect that time. Zabiobi, he is still alive, however, and he found his target. He's gonna try and pressure Doshin back into the corner. And right now, he's doing a good job of making sure this backline can't get too comfortable for London Spitfire.
Birdring out of the fight means that Zabiobi will be more than comfortable going wherever he wants. They've done a great job of target firing these people. Zabiobi dies to the passive ability of Junkrat. Not ideal there.
It's Libero with the shuriken to get the kill at the end, but Meko, you can see it from his point of view. There was a lot of focus there. Getting that healer out of the fight. London Spitfire still challenging on the point, however. Valuable time burning off the clock for New York Excel.
I love what Meko was doing there. He's firing back at the targets, but he's still backing the card in. Every meter is going to count in the long run here. Meko will finally die to a tire. It does seem like London Spitfire's defense getting back out here. Super scrappy, but I think the next couple of kills will determine it. A self-destructible stall.
But you lose Nuss in the mix, and that's a lot of healing gone. Uhiel, you can see, gets demeched immediately, and Birdring trying to do the best that he can to stay alive. It's not going to be good enough this time. New York Excel, just too much damage.
I think you see exactly why London wanted to go all in on that first point defense, holding they could stop them there because New York's been unstoppable since that point. They're able to close out second in swift order. Now lining up their attack onto last. They're going to have both DPS ults. Zabiobi has had a rough one here, and this is just a brutal composition for Tracer to try to push into.
Now Libero decides to make up for that. He's gonna get the hack and slash. Nuss is gone, and Libero gets the follow-up on Birdring as well. Two of the key players here for the Spitfire getting erased from the map.
Absolutely continue their dominance right now. London Spitfire need to come out and stall this just a little bit if they can. Doshin should have his Transcend. That might buy enough time for another, but a tire could end it as well as Prophet's trying to get Riptire in.
Oh, again! Not gonna get it, just barely. Nuss is right on the edge. Not gonna find the kill fast enough. The trance gets forced out.
That's an enormous transcend because Nuss was almost dying there, and Yobi was looking for the finishing damage that he needed. A kill onto Jonak might push them back. Art does have his Valkyrie out, though. It's too much, though. Spitfire have stabilized on defense.
With 30 seconds left, that does not leave a whole lot of time here for the New York Excel to reestablish a push and start moving together. They're gonna have to get in here fast.
Oh, and they have to push into Valkyrie. They have to push into Primal Rage. Meko does have a self-destruct. It's gonna have to be a miracle self-destruct. Might just land it right on the cart to try to zone them out. Hope that they pull what we refer to as a C9, which is jumping off of the objective even though you have people alive. That could be the strategy here.
Well, here you go, Mano. Just throwing himself in there. Self-destruct there to create some more space as well. Not gonna find a kill, but that's all right. You need to get in, Howard. 2 seconds left. Can they get somebody onto the point? Overtime's a ticking, and yes, Meko's there to contend just in the nick of time here to keep his team alive, but Saviobi getting forced off. Still alive, but they are running out of time, and it is going to be over in the end. New York Excel not able to complete the push. Get halted at 2 points.
I really like the positioning of that last point defense there from London to hold at the doors to not let them in, because their best chance was to just fight on the cart and hope they were getting it out for the NYXL. Now, had London lost that very front door hold, they still were going to have Valkyrie to be able to bring people back to life, to be able to stall at the cart as well. So why not make New York fight twice, both at the doors on entry and then at the cart again to try to win it out with such a limited time bank. Really smart strategy and positioning.
When you're dealing with that Junkrat, the grenades just chunking through as well. It makes it so dicey to push through those choke points. You're just gonna get hurt. You gotta get hurt bad. And I mean, I'm looking at some of the stats right now for New York Excel. It's actually bonkers how much damage Jonak does. He's up at 7.6k damage dealt. That's right behind Libero at 8.5. That's ahead of Mako and Saviobi. You might as well have 4 DPS when you're talking about New York Excel with what this guy can bring to the table.
I mean, on the other side of things, Doshin's no slouch himself, so the Zenyatta play on the top-end teams is, I think, what separates them a little bit from everybody else. You get so much versatility out of that hero. Finishing kills, softening up tanks.
And the blessed Discord.
The blessed Discord. Chasing the purple balloon to kill everyone who is disenchanted and takes more damage.
Well, 30 seconds left before we get into the fight. Libero decides, I don't know what was going through his head. Moira?
Sometimes it's just to fake the other team out. You're like, hey, we're definitely playing this, right? You show up in the kill feed that you jumped off, but he knows he's going to get back there in time anyway. Does not matter.
They will not be fooled by these shenanigans. Lemon Spitfire, they're zeroed in. Curious. All right, we're on the attack here, and it's looking like fairly straightforward stuff. Okay, there's this change up from Gesture, so they're going for an Orisa on attack. What do you make of that, Hex?
It's kind of a slow push, the bulldozer approach, if you were. They're going to take ground inch by inch, slowly. Hopefully Birdwing's in there. It's kind of interesting on both sides that they're running a defensive Pharah, but these compositions match up well against each other. Gesture sees what he's up against and is actually just going to go back into spawn. See what he wants to come up as here. Winston makes a lot of sense. It seems like they want to dive with this a little bit. It's a mishmash of compositions, because usually with the mobile tanks, you want a mobile DPS. They don't necessarily have that.
Instead, swapping back. I like the little factoid that we're getting in the bottom right there as well. It is true. It is true. Arc definitely spends a lot of time boosting Jonak. That is going to pump up his numbers, but when the guy just keeps hitting orbs left and right, you got to do your part. Oh, there it is! Birdring! One, can he get the second kill? You definitely know that Libero is going to be closing off that angle. He doesn't want to go the way of his mercy, but that creates a huge opening here for London Spitfire to get in, start making progress on this point.
Just 4 shots in a row, did not miss, didn't even hit a headshot, didn't need to, clutched it out. And London absolutely rolling over this first point. With the mercy out of it, Junkrat goes to town, lays in all that damage. No way you're healing through it. London Spitfire with one heck of an attack.
That is big. Birdring, clipping wings, doing work, and making it look easy too, just effortless. That's the real joy of watching McCree's, of watching Widows. It all looks so damn smooth.
It's kind of interesting that Arc, maybe he was on cooldown. He didn't Guardian the other way around. It seemed like he was just floating out in space, and he just gave himself up as a really big target. Mistake he'll be looking to correct. London Spitfire, on the other hand, have Valkyrie ready to go. Arc does not, because he was the first to die, only at 60%. Should they feel they need it, they will have a huge... Oh my god!
Saviobi gets shut down again! Birdring, he misses flashes, but he's definitely not missing shots. The guy is following up big, and there it is! Arc and Libero out of the fight! The Deadeye doing the work!
Birdring is on a hard carry right now. He is absolutely crushing, finally taken down, even though that was very close against Mono. New York trying to stabilize here. Arc will have his Valkyrie up finally if they need it, but I think that it's going to be London getting pushed back just a little bit, and then they will come in. Might be resetting here, still just looking for these final kills.
You've got Arc and Libero back in the fight, though, and this is going to be so hard to deal with them. Birdring's going to have to come up with the magic again. Prophet with the tire, hoping that they've dropped down low again, but he's not going to get anything out of it, unfortunately for him.
Well, Birdring got Jonak again there. Sabiobi may be one of the best tracers in the world, if not the best tracer in the world, but even the best tracers in the world should not challenge a McCree that knows where you are. He knows you're there, then you're coming back for more. Maybe that's the surprise factor. He just get flashbanged and punched in the face. A McCree which knows which angle you're coming from should win that duel 9 times out of 10.
Great mobility here from Gesture, though. It is tough, especially McCree. That headshot, you saw it. It just does so much damage. One mistake and that's it.
Well, Birdring is waiting here. I think they want to try to bait out Arc's Valkyrie in this fight, and then Birdring will just get from the back lines. And where is Arc going to hide in this situation? It is wide open, which is why you see self-destruct so important on this point. Sabiobi is getting rocked again. Prophet takes him down. There is the Valk. Ooh, tricky positioning.
That couldn't have got any closer there. Arc, man, he's wiping the sweat off his brow right now. He knows how close he came to death. And there it is, the deep self-destruct right into the back line, but they barely make it around the corner in time. Birdring, he's counting his lucky stars too.
And a combat roll back there to get under the stairs. Now they're gonna re-engage with the Transcend. Hopefully it's enough for them. Still killless so far. London trying to stay up on this.
Oh, fantastic defense here so far from New York Excel. You have to give it to them. They keep fighting back. They're not giving up. Prophet, when does he decide to go for the riptire? It is going to happen immediately. Looking for the flank, different angle here. And will he find Arc? Arc is vulnerable. There it is. Arc and Libero out of the fight. And that might be the turning point here. That might be what London Spitfire were waiting for. Sabiobi is close enough to contest at the last possible instant, but he's not going to be around for long. Too many beefy targets there to tase him.
London has really evolved so much throughout the season. Early on, it was a little sloppy with their ultimate play and ultimate economy, and they were beating teams on pure mechanics. But you can see every single one of these fights and engagements is focused around a single ultimate, not piling them on top of each other, not overlapping. They could have self-destructed there. They could have tried another Deadeye, but they waited, tried to see what the tire could give them, and then move on from that. It's been very good management of their resources.
Self-Notion now, he's got that angle. There's the self-destruct right into it. Will not find the kills. Perhaps Prophet helping out with the DMAC. And Prophet, this is exactly where he wants to be. Just chucking in the concuss mines right around the corner. We had the Deadeye for Birdring as well. Finding joy there. Nuss is going to be able to cancel that out, as well as Arc. The Valkyrie still in play with these reses, but they are getting so close now, London Spitfire. They need to win this fight decisively, and they will collect the first map in this series.
Another huge tire comes in. Mono out of this fight. That is all the shielding that they need. Now just looking for the cleanup. They're pocketing this D.Va. The D.Va will give them a little bit of space, but that is all. The car continues to move, and they're going to transcend, looking for the final push.
Finally, this is it. The Notion will go for the trance. And this, you can see with the res so close, it's not that big of an issue unless you manage to knock a man out to the open. The Halt combo there, allowing Birdring to find the pick. There's the flash, just going in for the fan as well. Birdring trying to make it happen here for his team, trying to find the kills, and they are getting overwhelmed, New York. And with how close London Spitfire are, there's no stopping them. The strafe run has been completed, Hex. London Spitfire, they've picked up the first map in this 4-map series.
Means they're not going to get 4-0. They will be making the playoffs. Now it just depends on seeding, but that's a big burden off of them. Great catch there on the halt into high noon. What a beautiful combination that was. You pull them out from behind the shield, headshot, great timing. So impressed with London's coordination, especially with their ultimates.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
some noise, ladies and gentlemen. Big it up, Blizzard Arena. Blown out of the sky.
Jake, huge tire from him. Now there it is. That's the big play.
Stage 1 playoffs for us. We'd love to win it. We'd love to get first place.
처음부터 시작이 좋아야 끝이 좋기 때문에
생각을 하기 때문에 정말 중요하다고 생각해요.
센 팀이 모여서 하는 거니까 그만큼 기대가 되고 빨리 하고 싶은 그런 마음.
돈이 많이 걸려.
Clean sweep.
London has been out of this world.
저는 개인적으로 좀 휴스턴을 만나기가 싫고요. 좀 너무 저희 입장에서 좀 까다로운 팀인 것 같아요.
저도 약간 휴스턴이 약간 좀 무섭긴 하네요.
저희는 좀 공격적인데
우리가 더 잘해.
우리가 더 잘하긴 하는데 좀 힘들 것 같아요. Nexal, for sure.
They're actually the best team. They have the best teamwork. They have the best coordination with their tanks. They have the best backline.
They have the most flexibility, too.
Most flexibility. They have the best tracer player in the game.
Sabiel be coming alive, man.
SPV is a god.
In the playoffs, when we play multiple matches in one day, it's very important that everyone stays at the same energy level because you don't want everyone to be too high or too low and like waste all the energy like mid first matches. 1등 해야지. 피곤한데 한 경기만 해야지.
하루에 2경기 하는 거는 겪어본 적은 없지만 그래도 좀 정신력으로 버텨야 될 것 같아요.
It just doesn't seem like Seoul's touchable here.
We're used to like scrimming 6 hours every day, so I mean stamina's not really a problem for us.
We're a team full of grinders. When other teams crumble, we're going to stay strong, we're going to stay together, and we're going to stay tight.
Oh, it's just a dominant victory here from the Houston Outlaws.
방심하지 않고 항상 하던 대로 분석하고 해서 플레이오프 꼭 갈 수 있도록 하겠습니다. 그냥 지금 흐름대로 그냥 가면 그래도 무난하게 이기지 않을까 생각은 하고 있어요.
이번 스테이지 1등은 저희가 하겠습니다.
Well, I don't know, Jonak. I don't know if you're going to get that one because right now, London Spitfire, they're up 1-0. Profit living up to the words. We need to win. Who wants to play 2 extra matches? Just get the job done in the first go.
London has qualified for the playoffs, just to make that abundantly clear, but now they're playing for that #1 seed, and there's 2 advantages to the #1 seed. One, you don't have to play that 2 and 3 match. Huge. I mean, you have literally that time off to scout the other team as well, and you get home field advantage. And home field advantage means that you get to play defense on these maps, generally preferable. We've already seen home field advantage doing well so far. Substitution coming in. Wu Yao going to be out. Fury coming in as we move on to Temple of Anubis. London, to get that #1 seed, needs to win by 2 maps. So there's a lot of numbers involved that I don't feel like flubbing on air, but you all can figure it out at home. They need to win by 2, so they can't go to 5, because that's obviously be a 3-2. Draws come into this. I don't want to do it.
Has to be clean. Has to be clean. It's still possible here. I mean, it is still possible for the London Spitfire to pull it off and to go for that 3-1 victory here. I mean, they've looked fantastic so far on the first map. It's going to be real fun to see what they have here on Anubis. Anubis, one of those versatile maps where you see a variety of different strategies get put into play. A lot of Widow play lately, to be fair, but you do get that Junkrat. Of course, Junkrat's still just as powerful. We are still playing on the old patch, guys. Just keep that in mind. It's not like matchmaking. It's not like comp where, Mercy has been nerfed and Junkrat as well. Here, we still have the 2 reses with Valve, and, well, Junkrat still blows people up.
When we get to stage 2, of course, we will be playing on live patch. So this is the final day of the Mercy meta and the Junkrat meta. Things will change, and who knows what we'll see next. That's why Overwatch is so great. It changes so often from meta to meta. London Spitfire. This is their standard defense here on Anubis.
The Shetland pony. I like it. We're going to have Gesture down there on the low ground and Birdering on high.
And now this is all about where New York wants to come in from. A lot of teams just try to rotate into the room, get up over high ground, and actually come from the back. And then it's about your Widowmaker repositioning, and then can someone go over to that side and take it? A lot of chess mind games going on here.
We're going to have to see. Because we saw what Soon was capable of on that Widow, the mobility, constantly getting the read on his opponents. Now it's going to be a question of whether Birdring can deliver. A little bit of an off angle here from Birdring to start things off. Not too common to see the Widow holding out on that first archway there. But now he's up on the high ground. He's in the sniper's nest. He is ready and waiting.
Well, nice positioning there, too, as he got Libero with the Venom Mine. Save Yobi dies immediately. Mana goes down as well. This push might as well be over. We'll see if they want to still come in just to try to pressure down Birdring. If they can get that kill, then he won't be in the mix for the next fight, but he'd be instantly reses anyway. So they're just going to call retreats. He had a great mind that got Libero, so he knew that flank was coming. Libero couldn't go in because he was able to be seen. That's the other effect of the mine. And then they just sent their Junkrat over there to try to pick him off as well. So a lot of pressure early on really threw that off. Another mine gets triggered. This also helps build up ultimates. A huge shot from Birdring, who has just taken over this set so far.
He is definitely looking pretty solid right now. Already has his ultimate as well. Everybody else, you know, they're playing catch up right now. Birdring, he'll soon be able to see through walls if he wants to. Knows that there's a flank around here. And that is going to be Sibyobi. Sibyobi is just crouching. After Eichenwald, he's like, please stop. I just want to live.
Sibyobi may be the world's best tracer, but he has had a rough go of it so far. Been punished more often than not for these dive in. He's going to have to recall right away. He is now facing off. Kind of up here, can't find anything going. But now he knows that Birdring knows where he is. Prophet takes down Libero. They've not had one clean entry so far for New York to try to get into Anubis.
All right, you may think, all right, he doesn't get the kill on Birdring. The fact that Sibyobi still stays alive, though, means that London Spitfire have to worry about him on the flank. They can't get fully comfortable. You keep seeing Birdring kind of glance over to the left. He just needs to make sure that Sibyobi isn't going to get in position to come launching onto him. But it is going to be tire time here. Prophet looking for the angle, and what was that? Misclick, fat fingers, baby.
Very strange there. Did not see any enemies on his screen. Maybe he knows something I don't. Anyway, they are going to continue this dive, looking a little sloppy and discoordinated. The tank will get demeched right away. Prophet will finish off that Diva. Winston already in trouble on the ground. That bubble's not going to last forever. He just got to bail out. Still getting hunted down, and another headshot combined. London Spitfire's defense looks impenetrable.
It's looking very good.
Bye.
Jonak, yeah, that is not the place you want to be. I feel really sad when you're Zenyatta. You got no movement abilities. Guardian Angel, please.
Treated to a single reading of the Sound and the Fury right there, alone in the corner. Not the book club I want to join. Taken down. Fury so good at isolating these supports. And we're getting down to it, Semler. There's only $1:15 left on the clock.
Really surprising to see. Well, both of these teams obviously top 1 and 2 in the groups. They are going to be good, but New York excel, watching them struggle, so this is big. And they continue to press forward. Okay, Arc has Valk, and we have both support ultimates in play. Quite a few ults now for New York excel. They're going to go for the one big wombo combo push, and Jonak has found his target. Gesture out of the fight already, crouching in the corner, and they get nothing. He was so close to eliminating Arc and stopping that Valk from having an impact, but now this might be the opening here that New York were waiting for so patiently.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Mercy, have no idea how that did not connect, and now with the Valkyrie out, he's bringing people back to life. Still have a Transcendence to work here for New York. This is their last good push. They have to go all in on this. That is a huge kill. That Nusk goes out of this fight. No more Mercy, no more healing in there, and now they're all stuck in the corner, and it's just a matter of time before they get whittled down. Birdring was trying to come in and make a hero play, but they saw him and eliminated that threat right away. Prophet is but a man, and I don't know if any man can do it alone here.
No, Fury is going to try the best he can, but unfortunately for him, you still have Prophet and Notion hanging in this fight. They are still hanging. I mean, the fact that they are hanging in that corner makes it so difficult to push into them. You're pushing into the Junkrat grenade. Libero, he's going to try to hack him to bits right on the edge. No! Prophet having none of it! Prophet shuts them down!
Nusk gets back in here, but only for a moment. He is taken down, and this could end up backfiring on the London Spitfire, trying to get in on this first point defense. It worked so well on Eichenwald until it did not. And now they've come in. They didn't end up feeding too much there, though. The danger there is that New York ends up getting the better kills towards the end and then can snowball into an ultimate advantage. New York has a bit of an advantage across the board, but nothing that London can't overcome.
Now, in terms of ults, now they just play patient, kind of poke, and letting us get up to that Valk as quickly as possible. Arc has definitely got the advantage there. So that could mean that New York could push a bit faster here behind the wings.
This is where Sibyobi excels. Now there's...
Never mind. Never mind.
Sorry, but...
Not that train of thought.
Sorry, buddy.
Birdring's not having any of it. No, actually, please.
Well, it's where he excels and where there's another Tracer on the field rather than going against a McCree and a Junkrat simultaneously, which are both anti-Tracers. Sibyobi can win those matchups oftentimes. Very good anti-DPS Tracer. Very good all-around Tracer, but I think that's where he excels the most at killing the opponent's Tracer. Birdring got the best of him there, but Birdring is just in touch with the ether today. He's feeling it.
Oh yes, he's tapped in to the killer instinct. It is flowing. little bit of a peek there just from Fury. Take a little bit of damage. He's just like, please, please, do some damage to me.
It's a strategy you've seen a lot, that the Tracer guards the left side because you don't want to let tanks in there without knowing that they're coming in. So Tracer will be on the left side. He's going to try to get the high ground actually on the left side as well. That's one way to try to deal with it, but Bird Ring, instincts too fast, jumps out of that mine.
Yeah, does the damage as well, and so that's not going to really let Libero get too comfortable over there. Birdie going for the Kobe, not going to connect, but that's all right. But as Tracer, you can generate that ult so quickly. You do like to see the hero plays every now and again. Just chuck that ult in, see if you can make the magic happen.
Looks more like a Shaquille O'Neal free throw instead of a Kobe shot right there. Bird Ring, though, will end up demeching Meko. That's going to hurt their sustainability on the point, and that is it. You're not pushing anymore with Jonak out of this fight. Maybe they try to res this, but you don't want to res to come back to even into a team with all these ultimates. New York is going to reset.
Oh, man, the stagger is fantastic. Dying one after another. Valuable seconds going to burn off this clock for the New York Excel. Now the ults, we're back to even pretty much here. Although we have one ult advantage for London Spitfire. The key ones, Arc. Well, Arc has got his Valve, but Nuss has got his, Doshin as well.
So this is the opposite of vanilla Overwatch. This is a Sunday with the works. You're going to see every option available for these teams, all the ultimates. This comes down to pure execution right now. If supports die before they pop their ults, that could really turn the tide. But right there, that is great entry kill. Jonak takes down his counterpart immediately, and they're going to go in on this.
Jonak doing what Jonak does. Oh, Eaton Saviobi not going to get his pulse bomb into this fight. That would have been perfect as well. Instead, it's going to be Prophet forcing them back with the tire. Should get canceled, and yes, no! Libero not able to get the mine off.
There are some Junkrats who really excel at killing the other team's mines, and it makes such a big difference that you're able to kill the tire with the mine. You just completely negate that ultimate, and that right there is a big mistake. Jungler is one of the best heroes at dealing with his own ultimate, oddly enough, that if the ultimate's coming in, you just toss one of those mines out.
Especially in a straight line like that.
Exactly, and this is the old patch, so you don't even have to really hit it direct onto it. It's got bigger splash damage.
Who gets it fast? Who's got the quicker reactions in that scenario? Birdring. Well, he's going to spot an Angry Monkey leaping onto the point. Fair enough. That's Mono. Mono has got Primal as well. And Birdring now in the back line, looking for those supports, looking for the Jonak. Perhaps no, the trance is there to save him. Libero, however, going for his tire. He's going to get deleted. And well, now we're into the thick of things here.
Actually, I'm not sure what happened there because he did not even have to pop his trance in that situation.
Well, okay, then.
It's one of those sticks that ends up slipping off the enemy somehow anyway. London still holding strong here. I've gotten a lot of kills. Jonak still has his Transcendence available. He's going to wait for Arc's Valkyrie to wear off and then use it. They have no reason to hold on to anything here. Have to go all in.
Yeah, changing. Oh, Arc. There it is. Jonak now with the Transcendence, just saving Arc at the last second. They're still hanging into this fight with the respawns coming in quick and fast. London Spitfire will be staggering. Gesture now dropping the shield as well, the barrier to keep his teammate in, but Saviobi finds the kill on Nuss. Again, the healing getting snuffed here for London Spitfire.
Might be a little bit too late, though. They'd lost so much before that they only have a few people out of this point. Bird Ring with the Doomfist clutch to get back out here. Looking for some people to punch. Will not need it. Another stellar defense put on by the London Spitfire. New York Excelsior held to 1 point on Temple of Anubis, 1 point, and I believe a third was the capture progress is actually 44.1%. London puts themselves in a great win position here.
To get those 2 maps, to get that strong start. There is a world in which London win this 4-0, Hex. We'll see if we're in that reality today.
If they win 3 maps, they're #1 seed. Then it's be a 3-1. So 3-1, 4-0. Those are the possibilities. 3-0 if they happen to draw, but that's not really going to be a possibility anymore. So London in a great position to steal that #1 seed, get the rest. I think it's not even necessarily the rest of playing the other match, but you get to just sit there as the 1 seed and watch the 2-3s battle it out.
It's a huge advantage because you also come into it rested. That's the important thing to consider, is that yes, you get to scout, you get some info. Of course, things can change from match to match depending on the depth of the roster you'll be facing, but of course you're in the playoffs, so everybody's got a deep playbook. The main thing is that you get to sit there, eat some food, have a laugh with your friends, rest up, and then you're coming into it fresh, whereas those guys might have just come out of a grueling 5-map brawl, right?
Yeah, I've always been of 2 minds of it because some players like to be super warmed up and in the zone, and they're just already mentally sharp because they just brawled it out. But yeah, you're right. That is going to be a 5-mapper as well.
It's true. It's exciting at first, but then it's where you turn it into a marathon.
Right.
And then it's like, well, you've been already running half a marathon. Are you going to be able to keep up when I'm all fresh and springy?
Yeah.
You know, I'll catch up, and then it's a matter of staying power.
We
It's
know
a lot of fun watching these, though. The long days can really get interesting.
both of these teams would prefer to be the #1 seed. New York going to need a very good defense to not go 0-2 on the map score so far. London's looked on fire, man. I got to give it up to Birdring. You know, Birdring's just played so well on many different heroes. He's been crushing it. Sabiobi yet to really hit his stride so far. At least we expect a little more out of him. And we'll see if New York can put it together here.
Well, New York definitely going for the Shetland to start things off. They're on the low ground holding, hard point defense behind that Mino shield. You can see Sabiobi hunting for the target. Wow, that was brave from Birdring. Just goes dashing right on through. Doesn't care that the Widow's in play. Counting on his tanks to create the space. And well, Sabiobi, there it is. The D-Mech and the follow-up and even a parting shot. Chasing him around the corner.
Very good. He's looking like he knows where that Tracer is on the other side of things. It's been scouted out, so he's just going to be keeping an eye on that over there. Let his tanks deal with it. Even Jonak's going to go up and help. They would like to be able to stagger this Tracer if at all possible. Recall puts her back in harm's way. Birdring, that is brutal. Gets chased out into the sight lines. It's like hunting ducks that you got to chase them out, then you shoot them out of the air.
Oh, the big plays. Oh, there it is. Sabiobi showing that he is perfectly capable on the Widowmaker as well.
See, the caster curse is real, but I was really rooting for Sabiobi to turn it on, so I got to call him out, and then he turns it on. It's exactly how that works. There's some voodoo magic in esports that every time you say something, the opposite will happen.
Yeah, maybe with Taimu yesterday. We've had this happen a few times now, Hex. I think the theory is starting to hold some water here. But what is certainly standing tall is the New York Excel defense. Libero again assassinates Birdring. That mine, so powerful when dealing with the Tracer, that anti-flank. And really just being able to go and hunt the Tracer at will, although there it is. You show him anything at all. Reflect, not gonna matter. Backs off the safety. Sabiobi's even got his healer. He's got his healer arc just watching his back. They eventually hunt down Prophet, and with 2 minutes and 20 seconds, it feels like London Spitfire are going to have to go for the similar strategy that we saw from New York Excel when they were on that first point attack. You're gonna have to slow it down, be patient, farm up your ults, and look for that perfect engagement.
That's exactly what they've been doing, is banking ults here. Maybe not on purpose, but that's the situation they find themselves in. They're gonna have everything to work with. I wanna see Prophet's blade here. Libero's gonna look to shut down this push. We'll do just that. Nuts out of the fight. And that will be a quick cleanup as well for the rest of the team. Sabiobi, I don't know if he's hitting anything but headshots.
Oh man, he is on point right now. And then yes, there is a very reason. If you're wondering, why are they not trying to kill him? Why do they wait to kill Fury? Just the stagger, let the baby diva run away. She is not a threat when she doesn't have her mech.
Every second counts, and so now they have to wait for that diva to get back in the mix. Another 5 seconds burned off the clock because of that stagger. London still banking these ultimates as they go forward. Birdring's going to try to challenge Sabiobi one-on-one on the Widow. That might catch him unawares. He might not think that it's going to be coming out as a threat.
Prophet's still looking for it. We do have the wings here. Nuts burned early. Birdring will get caught, however, by Sabiobi. The Venom Mine does the work, does the damage in the end. And Sabiobi still alive, still in this. He is under pressure and eventually gets caught by Prophet. And so Prophet, he will be the main man here, working in tandem with Gesture to pull New York back onto the point. And guess what's waiting for you? The blade!
Arkin just popped Valkyrie as well. He was saving it for the last second to try to bring his team back. It was going to be a greedy play waiting for Nuss's Valkyrie to dissipate, and he gets punished for his greed. The blade takes him out of the sky. No resurrections, nothing for your Valkyrie.
All that patience. Life
they say it's a virtue, but I've never seen it pay off.
Life can be cruel, Hex. You look at you're planning out this beautiful plan, you know, everything that's gonna come together, snickety snick, so nice. And guess what? It's going snickety snick. It's Prophet's blade through your spine.
Oh, that was visceral.
There we go. That's right. They're out for blood.
Pushing out very far on this defense. They smell blood in the water, and they will capitalize on it. A couple more kills, and Fury again caught out by himself. Late stagger onto the diva. Oh, that was a cool little zoning mine too, so that she couldn't run there. Buys them another second or so. London Spitfire looking to push through here. They only need to get it to that yellow checkpoint on B, which is technically 44%, and they will take this map on their offense. Not a ton to work with. Transcend. They also have Primal Rage probably coming online, but I think they should just go for banking up ultimates again. It seems to work out well for them.
Yeah, they have so much time as well. That's the main thing. They had 50 seconds when they managed to take that first point. An extra 50 seconds to work with means a couple more pushes if they want.
This is kind of an odd tire, but tire's one of those things where it's become one of those things,
oh buddy,
like Pulse Bomb, that you don't want to hold because you can kind of end a push before it starts there, but there was no pressure at all. Libero just going for it and not getting anything.
He just gave a whole lot of ult charge over to Nuss as well. So Nuss is very close now to getting, he's tied up with Arc in the race for Valkyrie. The wings will sprout, will spread as this next fight is going to come through. Birdring just pumping the damage in with the Peacekeeper. Trusty, ooh, 6-shooter doing the work, and there we go. We have the Valks online.
You might preemptively Valk here if you're the offense trying to push in. You don't want to have to use it in a reactionary manner. Taking the fight to him, Gesture goes up top, dislodging a lot. He's going to Primal Rage just to keep them all out of position. He might actually get a kill here on a discorded Junkrat.
Yeah, they're making progress. Look at this. He can bat them off at the point and stop them from contesting. A little bit of progress gained there for London Spitfire, and Gesture still alive. Now you've got Birdring. Now you've got this killer unit of Birdring and Prophet working together as a duo. Arc dancing in the air, trying to dodge the shots.
Well, this is going to be a Deadeye that can kill people through Transcendence, but some good positioning there is going to save them. NYXL may have gotten enough kills to be able to reflect this defense. I believe they have. Ocean should be cleaned up here momentarily, and that's going to be it for him. Defense holding strong. 2 minutes left on the clock for London to take this map.
With all those ults used, once again, you start to get a little bit antsy, a little bit nervous. Because you didn't even make 33% on that first push. You committed a lot of ults, and if you could have got that 33%, then you're cooking.
Right.
But now you've still got a lot of work to do here if you're London Spitfire.
Sabiobi on the Widow yet again. Doshin doesn't need a sniper rifle. He's able to take down that Widow on the other side of things. This is an odd place to be fighting, but New York is tired of just waiting to be aggressed upon. They will aggress themselves. Take the fight to the London Spitfire out here.
I mean, this is doing, that's another 30 seconds off.
Yeah, absolutely. Calmly retreat there. What's great about fighting out there is even if you lose, because of your respawn advantage, you should get back in there. Now, getting completely wiped out there, of course, is not a good thing, especially given the minimal amount of percentage that London needs to take this map. But I don't completely disagree with it, especially if you're going to play it kind of safe like this.
Big thing is that Arc has maintained his lead on the Valk race as well. So just keep an eye on that. Arc at 92%, Nuss is only at the 60. But they're gonna have to start pushing through. Less than a minute left on this clock. And London Spitfire, you're gonna have to make the magic happen now. It's time to show up. Because you can win this map. Ooh, the nades. And Libero, this is the most patient tire ever. Just idling, he's going for a burnout, only to go in faster. Looking for the back line. They know where it is at this time. Prophet is able to cancel out that ult. Gets that concussed mine in. 30 seconds left on the clock. They've been patient, London Spitfire. They've got the ults again. And now it will be the out-and-out chaotic fight.
Last fight of the map. Gesture is dead and then brought back to life. Nuss has already popped his Valkyrie. Arc gets taken out by Prophet, but it's not going to matter because he'll be back in the fight when it actually occurs. That's why holding out where they were is totally fine. Libero takes out Prophet. Both resurrections now been used for the London Spitfire Valkyrie.
And Nuss has already used his wings, and so Arc has even more of an advantage here if he wants to play it patiently. Can get his Valk into the fight, bring his teammates back. Things are looking a little bit tight here for London Spitfire. They need to do tremendous damage immediately, but it's not happening. Sabiobi and Mako, now Jonak lends a hand. And so far, things are shaping up perfectly here for New York Excel to hold the line. Overtime burning down, and Libero going to work. The New York Excel, enough progress and enough firepower in the end to hold the line and tie it up.
Sabiobi's Widowmaker, a huge difference there. Even playing it on second point defense, which is not necessarily where you always see it. A giant tire in the end. 1-1 here, still anyone's matchup as we go forward. If London can take the next two, they will be the #1 seed.
We wait with bated breath to see. This is exactly what we wanted out of this match. The two top seeds in the group battling it out. London still fighting for that first spot.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
Oh boy, it is awesome. We have NY and London tied 1-1. Welcome back. It's time for the halftime discussion. I'm Golden Boy, and there is so much to discuss in this game. We knew that it was going to be a barn burner. We knew that it was going to be a slobber knocker. And here we are, living this life.
You love that word, don't you?
I love that word. Well, I mean, listen, I'm a big professional wrestling fan, so come on, you know? Anyway, so this is where we started off Sideshow on Eichenwald, and I have to say, man, kind of crazy seeing the stylistic differences between these two teams clash, but in opposite roles.
Yes, normally we consider NYXL to be the defensive team and London Spitfire playing the dive, and London came into this with a game plan, and it was, we're not going to dive into you, we're not going to play into your strengths. Instead, we're going to play the Junkrat, we're going to play the McCree, we're going to play defensive, and New York had to follow into that. Sabioli had to set up flanks, Libero had to play the Genji. London were all over this map with a completely different style, and that's the advantage of having such depth in their roster.
They really were. It felt like New York, at least for their offense, they were very patient, just building Libero's ultimate on the far to try to make sure that they could methodically approach the situation, but were caught off guard by London just not really giving them much room. They played true to their style, which is try to hold the point no matter what you have at the end, which was able to buy just enough time that by the time that London were attacking themselves, they had a wealth more in the time bank, so it was a matter of just closing it out.
Yeah, but those individual performances, though, most notably from Birdring, was just, oh man, I want to be him when I grow up. You know? If that makes
so, well, the game in Overwatch, you got a lot of teamwork, right? So teamwork is always what can win you games. So when you have clutch potential, this overrides everything, right? Your strategy could be you take down Mercy, but if your McCree can just four-shot her in midair with fall-off damage, then nothing matters. You can really just do whatever you want.
Matters.
Your teamwork just falls apart because you got one guy just carrying the whole way through, and murdering was just that for I can tell. The first you push, this is just insane. My jaw dropped when I saw those clips.
It was crazy. And what I love about the London's more defensive style right now is that when they're playing with the Junkrat and playing with the McCree, that allows them to pop off. It allows them to go crazy. Whereas when you're playing dive, it has to be coordinated. You're playing with more of a team focus. But because they're playing back and giving and NYXL are giving them the space, it allows their individual players like Prophet and Birdring to go crazy in these games. So at the moment, it seems to be working pretty well for them.
It just feels like everyone else is trying to like make it into the playoffs, and Birdring just trying to put on a montage. You know, get it? You want to have some like Linkin Park music playing in the background, Birdring. We understand it. Shout out to old '90s montages; those were good. You remember those?
No.
You were in a live action.
No. With anime. It was
with anime. Always with the anime. Anyway, okay, well, let's go ahead and move on into Anubis, though, because this is, again, more ridiculousness ahead. This time, it just became the struggle on the offense for a lot of these players here, just not quite figuring out the point A pushes, and even for New York, not figuring out that point B push.
Yeah, so we were discussing on the desk, and we're thinking it looks like these teams have already grasped how this map works and how you can defend the best. Their composition is identical with the Junkrat and the Widowmaker, and because the DPS on both sides is insane, it means that any coordinated offense is going to have to go through these two massive control zoning heroes that at the hands of the DPS of both these teams, you have these attacks that take forever to try to get actualized because they're just killing everyone.
Yeah, I really don't understand actually. When we see these top level teams play, I think the completion rate for Anubis must be the lowest it's ever been in the game's history. And I don't understand, coming from like a strategic point of view, how do you break Mercy, Zenyatta and Junkrat defense here, because you have three ultimates that are game winning, and when you're trying to push in, they do everything right. They set up an ultimate advantage, they're going in, they have the Valkyrie, and then a tire just hits them in the face. And it seems to be this chained over and over again to the point where the defense on Anubis is so strong right now, it's almost uncrackable. And you saw that it was only the 44% that ended up winning it in the end for NYXL, just because they got one push that worked slightly better for them. All comes down to the micro.
Well, I actually think part of the big reason how you can crack, at least not for the first one, but for the second one, more adaptive switches. A lot of the times we see the Reaper coming out and just try to switch up the composition. Mei, Sombra, just like coordinate your ultimates, maybe go for a Nano Blade at some point. And you just have to go with so much firepower that can also stand on the point and sustain itself, which is just such a tall order. You don't have enough heroes to actually compile everything you need to crack.
I am surprised we didn't see any Sombra, because Sombra could potentially be a nuisance for Junkrat to deal with. You get the hack into that, or maybe the EMP, thus removing any kind of ults. Like, just something different.
Yeah.
You know, a different look to just try and crack it. Because as you said, the completion rate is so low, and that's clearly because this like wall that has been set up with tires and grenades and healing and transcendences and all that stuff, it's impossible to crack.
Yeah, it's so difficult. And actually point A is kind of similar now. Point A used to be going back a little bit, a bit of a free take, you know, you'd put up some defense on point A Anubis, you'd try and whittle away a bit of time, but you were never going to full hold it. Both of these teams nearly full held. I think it came down to one play, and both times Arc was involved. And one of them was this tire that he dodged was ridiculous. He was able to hide inside this room, and Prophet's rolling around with the tire.
Oh, snap.
Prophet's like, I saw him, but just explodes it. And then here's NYXL on the defense, and he's got a perfect situation to completely clutch with this Valkyrie. Pops it, but then Prophet's just all up in his face, instantly destroys him. A one shot that takes him out of nowhere. But I think if Prophet gets the kill on Arc that time, they have no Valkyrie, and London Spitfire get the full hold. If Arc gets that Resurrect off and gets another couple of Resurrects, they've probably full held on point A as well. This is a game of the inches.
Yeah, and that is exactly what you want to see at the top level of competitive Overwatch. I'm loving it. This is amazing. Seriously, these two teams they're mind gaming each other hard, and I love it. But one player who is just throwing it out there in that Anubis game, Sebiobi, was disgusting on those Widowmaker shots. Crumbs, I was flabbergasted.
Yeah, so was I, because initially I thought, well, maybe he's going to try to go for the Widow on the offense. No, he stuck to the Tracer boat. I wanted to see him come out with Widow, and so when he got to set himself up in the high ground here and just rain from above, it looked like it was an even stronger hold than what London did to New York, because his accuracy was just out of this world. Look at him, just shooting people left, right, and center. There's another one.
Yeah, it's really difficult to get through that first choke point here with the way that they've set up, and you have all the Junkrat spam coming into you. So previously, we've seen teams just kind of poke and just build up their support ultimates, and then they have a Valkyrie advantage to go in with. But I think that's starting to slip outside the metagame as the defending team realizes what's going on, and instead they just have to try and keep going. And the more fights you have, theoretically, the more chance you have of taking it, because you've got a certain percentage in each chat.
Yeah, Bird Ring's all like, I'm putting on a montage. And then Sebiovi's like, hold my drink. I'm ready. Let's do this.
Hit the record button.
Hit the record button, baby. Mom, get the camera. I'm crushing it right now. That's basically what's going on here. I'm pretty sure your mothers are very proud of you, boys. All right, well, guys, I mean, this half has been, or this first half has been bananas. Second half coming up next. Really exciting stuff. Are we still sticking with our predictions here? Or are you going to pull a Brandon's flip-flop?
I think NYXL should be favored on the next two maps, but I think their style is so one-dimensional. I think London have got this. They're going to read into it.
Okay. I think there's no need to flip at this point. It really could be anyone's game, but I'm just going to stick to New York. Yeah. They are having a lot of success on Ilios, so I don't see why that's going to falter now.
All right, well, it's been exciting, and what a first half to kick off our final day of the regular season. But earlier in the week, we actually had a chance to sit down with Rascal from the London Spitfire, and he explained why his sensitivity setting is so important to his play. This is Game Set, sponsored by Omen by HP.
Because they couldn't kill Rascal, he starts to pick people off.
And Rascal's just wrecking people right now.
And there it is, the instant kill from Rascal, putting on a show. London Spitfire will hold.
안녕하세요. 런던 스피파이어에서 DPS를 맡고 있는 라스칼 김동준입니다. 제가 가장 자주 플레이하는 영웅 세 가지를 꼽자면 겐지, 맥크리, 파라. 감도는 게임하는데 모든 것에 영향을 끼치다 보니까 가장 먼저 갖고 있고, 히트 스캔 사용하는 캐릭터들은 800 DPI에 5.5, 겐지나 파라 같은 경우는 7, 정크렛, 둠피스, 리퍼가 6. 아마추어 시절에는 항상 손목을 쓰던 유저여서 DPI가 엄청 높았었거든요. 지금은 800 DPI에 인게임 5.5까지 낮췄는데 모든 캐릭터를 다루는 데 있어서 도움이 됐던 것 같아요.
The fun thing about Rascal that I always really liked is that he was very good at taking the new hero and being the best with it early on.
여러 가지 영웅을 다루다 보니까 약간 영웅들마다 각자 맞는 에임 모양이나 에임 스타일 같은 게 필요해서 총알이 여러 방면으로 튀는 트레이서나 디바 이런 캐릭터 같은 경우에는 에임이 큰 십자선을 사용했고, 십자선에 16, 15 점은 없는 이런 십자선 좀 더 맞추기 쉽다는 느낌? 에임이 한 군데에 집중돼서 맞춰야 되는 겐지, 맥크리 이런 캐릭터들 같은 경우에는 조그만 원을 사용하게 돼요. 원 에임에 두께는 1, 넓이가 12, 그 다음에 점 크기를 최대로 키워놓고 투명도를 30으로 하면은 멀리 있는 적도 약간 뚫려서 안에가 보인다고 해야 되나? 적 움직임 보고 맞출 수 있고.
Rascal some space up on the high ground where he can really go to work as McCree.
캐릭터 렌더링 같은 경우에는 렌더링이 낮으면 낮을수록 픽셀이 크게 보여서 맞추기가 쉬웠었는데 요즘에는 그거보다 조금 캐릭터 모션이나 모습 같은 거를 선명하게 보고 싶어서 100% 쓰고 있어요. 제 세팅이 여러분들한테 많은 도움이 되었으면 좋겠습니다. 감사합니다. 안녕.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
1-1, and the Spitfire just secured themselves a place in tonight's playoff. Now, this next half is very important because if the Spitfire are able to win 2-0, if they're able to win both maps, they will be able to steal first place away from NYXL and secure themselves a spot in tonight's stage final. And by securing themselves in tonight's stage final, they pretty much guarantee themselves $25,000 because the first place winner is going to get $100,000. The second place team will get $25,000. This is a $25,000 half. Guys, make some noise. Let's get into it and send it back to our boys, Simler and Hex.
Not only is there the Skrill, Malik, not only is there the Skrill on the line. I mean, if Thorin was here, he would say, Semler, you stop right there. The Skrill is everything. But no, Duncan, no. There is something more. It is the pride. It is the pride of being the best at stage one with how competitive this entire league has been so far. If you emerge at the top, that's some serious confidence going into stage two.
Yeah, but I'm always a little more proud when I have 25K in my pocket. So that is definitely a factor going into this. We are going to be headed to Ilios. Peanut butter and jelly, Pine and Ilios. Pine is going to be coming in. This man also going to be subbing in. His name is Janice. He's carrying the wheel. We'll be subbing in for Mono. But
listen, you have the Lord of the Dance. We have the Lord of the Dab. Pine is on the stage. The man is already dead focused because this is his playground. We have seen him do magical things on Ilios.
You know, broadcasters are prone, to hyperbole, but Pine's first entrance onto Ilios was the best McCree montage I've ever seen in my life. You couldn't take every map from other pro players and put together a better minute that he had on Ilios.
And you've seen it all, Hex. You've been here since day one.
I've seen everything.
You've seen everything. You are omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent. That's right, in the cast, but what is really important is right. That was actually mind-boggling. So I really hope that we're gonna get to see that again and really push, if Pine can push London Spitfire to the limit, because Birdring, if he stays locked in on McCree and going toe-to-toe with Pine, this is gonna get fun.
Yeah, but Birdring was able to shut down SBB on the first map as well. A little different matchup there rather than just going cowboy to cowboy. The duels there, the showdown going to happen. Sabiobi right now on a Soldier 76. A little bit interesting that he's not going to be running the Tracer, which is one of his best heroes. So little wrinkle of the composition here from the NYXL. No Farahs on the field, knowing that each team can run a God tier McCree, and this should be fun. By God, that is Pine's music.
Yes, let's go, Pine. All eyes on the Pine show. Not quite connecting at the start, but he's just warming up, Hex. He's just warming up. He's feeling it. Loosey-goosey. Loosey-goosey.
Still kind of trading back and forth here, trying to charge ultimates early on. The first leap will come in. Flashbang does not necessarily connect. Both teams just waiting for their McCree to hit that crucial headshot. All the consistent damage up top from SBB up here, and he's getting so much good work, and Pine will get the first kill. SBB follows up, nuts out of this fight. New York XL trying to put an end to this match right now. We'll take the first stage here.
This is the beauty of this setup. Is that, yes, okay, you can see Pine, he's literally pocketing, or he's pocketed by Arc at all times. He's just constantly getting healed up because you obviously want to focus on McCree. Very little in terms of movement to get out of harm's way. You just got a combat roll, right? Okay, cool. But he is vulnerable. But what does that leave? That leaves so much room for Sabiobi to just be up there, heal himself up with Biotic Field, and just pump damage into the back line.
Yeah, we're talking about the McCrees, but I think the big reason why Birdring changed over to Genji is to try to deal with SBB on the high ground. That is a flash and death onto Prophet. Get out, he says. Now has to resurrect, but so far, New York is dominating this fight, now chasing some kills.
You can just see the moment when it all clicked as well for him. He's like, oh, he's right there. Great, he's dead. Fine, this is his turf. We're up to 40% already on the first point here for New York XL.
Okay, so Pine, I thought he was rotating around back to get the high ground on the stairs because he has Deadeye up, but with no targets in the sky, not that big of a deal. Trying to just hide out right now, take the angle. Sabiobi has the other side covered, still just raining on that high ground. No one's been able to touch him.
Wow, so much damage going into Gesture. He just dies instantly. Now Pine, however, nearly gets knocked off the side. Fury so close to ruining the hopes and dreams here for New York XL. Jonak gonna miss his volley. Tough target to hit, fair enough. But Birdring is there, and he's reflected the Deadeye back into Pine. There is an opening here for London Spitfire to win the point for themselves.
All the DPS out of it for New York right now, so it's going to be very difficult. Arc is going to bring back Pine, and oh, Booster's on cooldown, unable to get back up there. Sabiobi now back into the mix here. He's going to get his sights on. Tactical Visor is popped, looking for the cleanup, takes down two. And London, unable to capitalize on the kills on the DPS on the other side of things, did force out a Valkyrie at the very least, so they're not going to be behind in that aspect of the game. But this is the final fight for the stage. NYXL at 91 and counting. Gonna have to rush in here.
And Jonak didn't waste his trance. You see a lot of times, sometimes Zenyatta feeling the pressure, goes for that panic trance. No, now Jonak, they've got a chance to cancel out this last fight if they want it. There's the chance to keep the point going alive. Birdring there to remove Sabiobi from the high ground. A solid start here for him at least. A lot of damage lost, but Sabiobi can get back into the fight so quickly.
Oh God, he's so close to getting the Mercy. He does. Both Mercies now out of this fight. Is self-destruct on the point to try to zone out. Doshin takes down Pine. DPS out of this fight. Birdring should be able to get back in here. Excuse me, Sabiobi should be able to get back in here. Should be respawning and coming back. Finally, though, the London Spitfire have taken the point back. No zeros on the board anymore.
It won't be the clean sweep. It won't be the clean win. We do have Pine with Deadeye coming back into it. And Sabiobi has decided enough is enough. I need to get onto Tracer here. There's no McCree to stop me anymore with the flashbangs, because Birdring was really shutting him down hard on Eichenwald. And so no McCree means that Sabiobi has a little bit of room to work with.
Tracer can be very good against shutting down the opposing Genji as well, able to get out of his dashes. That Reflect, able to burn that out too. Still trying to jockey over small pack room here. Both teams fighting in close quarters, but Birdring will be the first to fall to Pine, rezzed immediately.
Oh, buddy, and then Fury just goes charging right into the mix. Pine removed, Prophet is there, and they are just sweeping them. London Spitfire, Birdring even committing the Dragon Blade to the fight, but they still have 2 ultimates to play with here, London, to hold this.
But not the ultimates you want. New York, they're kind of a bit of a eco push to try to get some ultimates out of the other side as their support ultimates are about to come online. Nuss had to use his Valkyrie there to make sure that the London Spitfire won that fight, which means Arc. In the next fight, we'll have the ability to resurrect 2 heroes. Pine also might just be creeping somewhere waiting for the Deadeye. I think what they'd like to do is go cause chaos and let Pine clean it up. And Prophet in the back! No pulse bomb for you, sir.
Unbelievable. And then Pine whips around and takes out Nuss. No support backline, not even a chance of healing here for the London Spitfire. They may have to give ground as they collapse onto this point. New York Excel, they will flip it immediately, and now it's all going to be on Fury. Can he get in here and tap it? Can he get that? No, he gets stunned before he can make it, and that's going to be it. New York Excel turn it around and get that 100%. They have the lead now on our 3rd map of this series, and Pine, he just turns around.
Right here is the best part, right there. Oh, beautiful replay there. And now New York, 1 stage away from locking down their position as the #1 seeds in the Stage 1 playoffs. I really like that they put Sabiobi on the Soldier 76. It forces the other team to play towards that high ground. Otherwise, you take too much damage, and then Pine doesn't even have to hit headshots to close people down. They've already taken all the damage from the Soldier, Helix Rocket, everything. Everyone's low, and then you just start finishing off those targets. Of course, we are on Ruins now, so that means it's a Widow matchup. Birdring versus Pine, who will come out victorious in these first shots?
That's a great question mark. We've seen what Pine is capable of on the Widow, but Birdring definitely put on a show earlier on Anubis as well. So it will be that duel. Pine not hesitating, and that is it! Takes the shot, gives away his position. His Birdring will be there to capitalize. Both DPS dead for New York at the start.
Monstrous there, and that should be London taking the very first control of the point here. Jonak gets 1 kill, but it will not matter. And now, Birdring looking for grapple shots. Always great feeling to be in control of the map as a Widow. Pine's gonna have to come back out and try to deal with this. Very difficult to do. Birdring's also gonna have infra sight up sooner than Pine, so he's gonna know exactly where his nemesis is.
Yeah, he'll have that advantage. And right now it's about keeping your cool if you're London Spitfire. You started strong on Lighthouse. Now it's a matter of getting it done here on Ruins, and we'll see. Oh yes, Birdring, he's got the edge, he's got the angle, and Doshin going to work. He's removed Sabiobi from the map already. That's the worst feeling if you're Sabiobi. You do not want to die to a Zenyatta.
It's compoundedly worse because oftentimes when you die to the Zenyatta means you're in the other team's backline. There's no chance for a resurrection to come in and save you. Yes, Tracer can join the fight. That might be big though, because now they can fight without worrying about sight lines. Pine taking out Birdring is big. They should also get Sabiobi back in this fight shortly, but the pulse bomb takes down 2 from Prophet, collecting dividends.
Oh no! Janice is looking over at Jonak right now, shaking his head, waving his head like, no, 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 I'm sorry, I didn't mean to kill you. Left right back onto his Zenyatta and took him with him. Oh, that's painful.
That's a moment that you have to just forget about and move on. Pine now out of this fight as well, gets sniped out by Doshin. 63%, about 2 more fights and London will tie up this map.
All eyes on the Valks now. Who is going to crack first? Who's going to have to use some preemptive Valks? Perhaps we will have the Infrasight, as you guys can see. Now they can see through walls here, London Spitfire. That's definitely going to make life a little bit easier for them. But that doesn't stop JJoNak from getting the pick on Doshin to kick this fight off. Certainly they're going to try and push behind this as Nuss is forced to use his arc first. Well, his arc. Arc has got the arc as well. I don't know, it's the Valk. Wings are everywhere.
There's a lot of angels here right now on the point. Birdring's still looking for it. Valkyrie not as good at this point as it is on others because you're always going to run into snipers. Birdring getting absolutely harassed, but he's got a pocket healer with him, so no problem. Doesn't have to worry about his health. A Winston's not going to do the burst damage to take down a Widow in that situation. Pine finally falls. Very back and forth. New York needs to win this fight.
That was the key kill, the difference maker. And now we have Birdring. He's got the sideline open. That makes life difficult for Arc. Again, Janus has been on top of this, really trying to make it uncomfortable here for Birdring, trying to make his life difficult. Constantly pressuring, and this might be it. They will be able to flip it once again. New York XL refused to say die.
So Janus pressuring there, he knows he's not going to get that kill because the Mercy's back there. But that's a victory for them because the Mercy's back there. When the Mercy has to babysit your Widow like that, it means the rest of your team is not getting sufficient healing on the point, and it makes the ground war so much easier.
Solid work from Janus, who got subbed in for this map along with Pine. Showing that there are layers on layers. Pine with the headshot, satisfying dink. And no, he doesn't get the shot off in time. Birdring going for the big plays, the grapple shot, and he wins it.
That's a little more satisfying of a dink right there. Absolutely takes him down. Sabiobi looking to even this up. Misses his pulse bomb. Throwing it on the wall, doing a little decoration there. Not going to be what they need. They're losing players left and right. Janus back into the mix so far. Arc has used both Resurrections on his Valkyrie. Now Sabiobi comes in. Resurrections now out for the Spitfire as well.
Exactly right. Nuss brings Doshin back into it, but they've lost their tank in the meantime. While he had to go over there, he couldn't heal him. And so Fury, desperate to stay alive at this point, get a new mech. Sabiobi with the high ground, just blinking shots down on the Doshin. There's nowhere to hide. And well, London Spitfire, they sputter, run out of fuel on that push.
A little stall out there from London. Doshin will have a Transcend for the next fight, matched on his counterpart there. Also relatively even as far as giant impactful ults. Both self-destructs are up, but they don't necessarily come into huge play on this map. There's a lot of places you can hide from a self-destruct, a lot of pillars. I think the Widow battle will determine it yet again. Pine, if he hits a headshot, he will have Infrasight. He'll be able to see through walls again. So important for not only the Widows, but for the rest of your team. Nuss out of this fight is absolutely brutal for this team. New York's going to, or London rather, is going to have to fight without their Mercy.
Oh, he gets the headshot at the end, Pine. Taking some shots, he'll connect there as well. That's a bit of a bigger target, and Gesture not allowed to escape with his life. We've got the overtime going, 99 to 99. And well, it's a matter here for Profit, but he gets eliminated immediately by JJoNak. Can they get back in time? Anybody? Birdring tries, but it's not gonna be quick enough. And the New York XL pull ahead in this match.
And they are now the #1 seed going into the Stage 1 playoffs. They get a map off. And they have guaranteed themselves some money in the Stage 1. NYXL has been the best team in the Overwatch League overall so far. That #1 seed just solidifies it.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omened by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. And by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. the #1 ranked team. It's the London Spitfire. Now it's time to introduce the NYXL.
It's a battle of behemoths.
런던이 저희와 더불어서 가장 최고 팀이라고 소리가 많이 있기 때문에 저희도 당연히 런던 이겨서 가장 최고로 잘하는 팀에 입지를 던지고 싶어요.
That was a dominant performance from New York.
서울전 이겼던 것처럼 그 준비를 그렇게 열심히 하면 다른 팀들도 쉬울 것 같아요.
London Spitfire, another 2-0.
근데 저도 정말 비슷하게 팀업이 엄청 세다 생각하고 그리고 특히 기도심이 엄청 잘한다 생각하거든요.
Man, Pedosin is a star right now.
저희는 좀 공격적인데 우리가 더 잘하긴 하는데 좀 힘들 것 같아요.
Gonna go high, way out in the open, and somehow finds a shot on Fleta.
저는 약한 팀이랑 안 했으면 좋겠어요. 저는 더 센 팀? 그래야 재밌을 것 같아가지고.
And they are the new kings of Overwatch League.
저희가 공격적인 걸 더 잘하기 때문에 이길 수 있을 것 같아요.
Big Ben is ringing out. London make a strong statement early.
같은 디비전인데 그래도 이번 스테이지 1은 저희가 디비전 1등 할 것 같아요.
마지막 경기는 저희가 이기고 플레이오프 때 기다리고 있겠습니다.
This is a ferocious squad.
It's a team that's on another level.
You're right, Prophet, you're right. You will be waiting for them in the playoffs. With how this has gone down now, Hex, it's all about pride on the line now because New York, they will maintain that first seed. They will get that spot straight into the finals of this first stage.
London needed to win the set by 2 to take away that first seed. That is impossible now. Game 5 would end up being 3-2, not enough. So now we're just playing a little bit of exhibition. We'll see if teams want to bust us. You know, this is the one chance we might see a Symmetra. Because why not?
Wow.
There's a sign out there that says, play Symmetra, you cowards, and I could not agree more.
Shout out to that guy. Loving that sign. I mean, a lot of cool signs in the crowd today, definitely. But every day, it's so fantastic, man. Every day the fans are here. Every day we've got people in the stadium with us, and they're getting so creative with the signs. And yes, more signs.
Yeah,
more signs like that.
The tragic thing is I wanted to watch the next set out in the crowd, but I think I'd be violating fire code. We got a packed house here today. No seats left for me.
Yes, it is a full house for the stage playoffs, and we're going to see it all play out all day long. Nothing but fantastic, top-tier, world-class Overwatch. And so we're going into the final map of this series. Perhaps map 5 is still possible if London Spitfire managed to pull off a win here on Dorado.
Yeah, sure. Maybe they have strats they want to try out here. It'd be a good time to do it. But, you know, most of the stakes for this set have been set. What's your favorite color, Pepper, as far as eating-wise?
Red.
Oh, yeah?
No hesitation.
No, yeah, you like it.
You know what? You eat them like apples, too. You don't cook them.
You know who does that? Sideshow. He's always just walking around with, like, weird vegetables in his hands, just eating them.
That's what it's all about. Try it. If you think it's weird, try it. It is tasty and refreshing and crisp.
Yeah.
Got that real texture to it, that snap.
As a bitter human being, I'm more inclined to green. Green peppers for me.
Why? Okay, so why green though? Is that just like
you know, because
green light means go?
No, it's kind of like sour and like it's you know.
Oh, I see.
Sour, bitter, unappealing. All the aspects of my personality embodied in a vegetable.
Exactly. I was gonna go the other angle. You know, you need help to like. You know, you need a little bit of that spice, a little bit of that sour, you know, to replace what's been eroded from your soul, Hex, all these years.
Yeah, so, you know, you go sweet, I go sour.
I'm not, that's actually pretty fitting.
I was trying to set you up for a sponsor plug, man. Come on, pick up the ball.
Stop it, no.
All right, we've got Dorado here. It is going to be London on defense first. Very typical composition from them. A Junkrat and a Widow are going to come out here holding the high ground early on. The rotation will be in effect the moment they feel that they have to pull back through the archway. Offensively, no surprises as well from New York. They're going for the dive comp and the flank of a lifetime from Liberos. He goes all the way back.
Yeah, he watched Seagull yesterday. Seagull putting on a little bit of a show yesterday for the Fuel, where we got to see the real flank all the way in the back. And so now, well, it's going to be a question of whether he can pull it off, if he can get anything out of that. Because, of course, you notice, if you're all the way on the other side of the world flanking, you're not here with your team doing the deeps.
Well, they're just going to get free push through the archway already. Libero still on Libero's great adventure back here, looking for some targets. Sees the Mercy, that's your prime target, of course. Want to dash through, hit some shurikens, hit the melee combo and delete it. Does find a Widow up there. That was probably the reason he was back there in the first place, but couldn't find it early on. We'll take Prophet as a consolation prize. Jester already down as well. Some reses will come in for both teams. Prophet back in the mix.
And then it's just, you know, oh yes, the kills will come to me actually. Like all things, you know, patience pays off if you just wait. Libero, he knows all about that. Hacks him to bits. Point blank, Birdring not even really paying attention to him. Still looking for kills on the ground floor. Libero, however, will catch Doshin in the end. And so far, the kills are flowing for New York XL. They are making progress on this first point.
Again, the downside of pocketing the Widow with your Mercy means that the rest of your team is just going to die that much more quickly. Libero able to zone out the Widow there, and the Mercy still back there. That means there's a 5v4 happening on the payload. New York will take advantage of that. A paper-thin defense so far by the London Spitfire, but ultimates are coming online. New York would like to get in position to deny the high ground if at all possible. They're kind of splitting up into squad play here right now. 2 on the right, 2 on the left, 2 on the cart.
That was sick by Huiel. Small detail, but he was an inch from dying. Goes back and gives Doshin trance with all that healing charge. So now we've really got evened up here on the ults into this next fight. Prophet with the tire. It has been spotted and it will get, well, it's not quite going to make it there.
Just a beautiful dome to protect them during that time. A little biodome action right there keeps everyone inside alive.
Mine to the face. Surprise mine. That's usually how mines work.
Libero mic up over the top. No need. Nuss just drops himself into Libero's waiting arms. A violent hug if I've ever seen one. Libero might be trying to get this blade going up top. Might not need it though. Now with the reses in, perhaps go for it, but they're still getting some push on this card.
Yeah, they're making quite a bit of progress. Wuhiel only now getting in there to contest it, but some dirty plays. Sabiobi winning the duel, Doshin trading it. We have a self-destruct from Wuhiel continuing to challenge on this payload, continuing to buy a little bit of time here for his teammates to get in and help him gesture. Also joining the fight.
Arc died post-resurrections. They're still getting a little bit of free push here, but now going on an enormous flank. The offense is. Just a retreat. I thought they were going to get aggressive, but that's going to be the Tracer's job. Zen's going to stay back with his team, even though we've seen some very aggressive Zenyatta play throughout the Overwatch League.
Well, when you've got Jonak, it's kind of synonymous, right?
Yeah, there's no need for him to, hey, here's your healing orb, I'm busy, guys.
Yeah, flanking Zen, sniping Zen, volley Zen, the list goes on. The man, he forgets actually that he has a Harmony. It's all about the Discord, it's all about the deeps.
Trying to get it, that tire is out. Surprised that Libero didn't go for that kill onto the Junkrat. He was incapacitated towards them. Ends up finding himself in that trap on the ground, and this is a clean fight for the London Spitfire. A reset on the offense for New York. They will come back in. Little shy of 3 minutes on the clock, still on this second stage. As we look at ultimates going through, London Spitfire has both of their support ultimates. However, New York will be able to match them. Sabiobi. He was so good on Widow earlier. He's going to fire up the Widow yet again on the offense. Generally, you see a defensive Widow here, but offensive Widow can still work. A lot of long sight lines.
Hey, he's looking for that high ground right now. He's looking for the angle. Not quite going to find it. However, he has left a little bit out in the open as London Spitfire collapse over here. Left side high ground, looking for the flank, looking to find a pick, and they move together as a unit. So very little chance there for New York XL. They have to back off and give ground. Nuss with the Valk, though, not waiting at all. He just commits into it. So we already have the back flying for Nuss. That means that Arc is going to have a pretty big edge.
Oh, careful, careful. Both of the supports over here. Sabiobi and Jonak die instead of the supports, but Prophet not done. Will take down Arc in the end. Just caught that flank out at no man's land.
Well, okay then.
Exactly. What else are you going to say?
There isn't a whole lot, right? You know, it's just like, oh, all of the squishies are in one place. I happen to do ass tons of damage. Let's go.
Is that a Swedish measurement?
That is actually a Swedish measurement.
Well, with Valk out on one side, Valk is up for the New York offense.
It's a donkey kick, just to be clear.
They might choose to use it right now, as Arc has resurrections available. A couple of kills. They might not even need to use reses here. Birdring trying to find some pressure in the back lines. Just blinks right past the Winston. What happened there? I didn't see it.
This is all over the place, man. This is getting chaotic. We're down to a minute left now between both of these teams. Progress still being made, perhaps on the point, as Sabiobi is the one who's minding it right now.
I thought that stuck on the Mercy, but it must have stuck on the Winston instead, perhaps, and then Pulse Bomb not enough to kill the Winston being healed. See which this next push goes in. It's been very quiet for Libero blade-wise so far, but he's got it ready to go. They've been banking ultimates. Now they can see through walls as well, know exactly where the enemy is. This could lead to an enormous flanking blade.
Yes, and yep, he hears the orbs, and there it is! Surprise, surprise! But the trance is there to save it, and he gets canceled out. Libero run over by Wuhiel. who will be there to watch his teammates back. And but the point in the meantime continues to make progress towards that second point cap, and that's what it's all about. Prophet, his tire is low, but it's still deadly. Gets caught at the end.
Nice kill there by Janice, and now they're going to transcend on the cart. Sabiobi's taken out the other two supports with the help of his friends, and the gates are open. The path is clear. New York continues to push. We'll take second point. Adds 90 seconds to their clock.
You can see Mego just trying to get in here, see if he can catch anybody out of position, anybody rezzing. Not going to be the case this time around. And so they are patiently going to just stay put. Sabiobi is going to be the one to change off of the Widow, it looks like.
Even with infra sight up, there's just not the sight lines here on the offense to be able to get Widow in position that she needs to. They would like to perhaps rotate on the high ground. This is the classic Dorado setup where the defense has the high ground there on the right-hand side. The offense has to try to push through it. They would love to get Sabiobi on that high ground so he can start getting sight lines with the McCree. And it also helps them get in and protect their healers from flankers. Flashbang and deleted.
Oh, and there it is. Libero. Speaking of deletion, Prophet not long for this world, and they are just cleaning up right now. London Spitfire throwing themselves bodily on this point, one after another, and they're dying horribly. Although Nuss is here to rectify that, he will bring his teammates back to life. And that is New York XL deciding to back off on this fight.
Double res, but New York XL is fine with that, noticing that they have their Valkyrie of their own and the Transcend as well. Self-destruct could open up some space for him. You can go top right up there and just send it down the hallway like a bowling alley and take over that space if they want. That is the flashbang you're looking for. Sabiobi catches Bird Ring.
I'm sure he feels pretty good about that, considering how often he was getting flashed and killed early. He's like, oh yeah, this is how it feels. I'm loving it. Right now, going to work. Sabiobi just stays alive. It's all about positioning with the McCree. Keep your angles close and make sure that you can just pump shots, pump damage. Libero's there as well. He'll get topped up by Arc in the nick of time, and Arc has still got Valve.
Transcend's have been traded out. They got to get on the cart. The hole so close. Almost get knocked away at the last second. Birdring takes on Sabiobi. Now they need to get bodies back on this point. Valkyrie back into the mix.
Valk is there, and so Arc is still here to keep his teammates alive, but not for long. Wuhyol is going to win the duel versus Sabiobi. On the edges, the Assassin Diva is here, but they are still keeping alive. It is going to be the heals just getting pumped into Janice, and now that kind of, he has to be careful. If he backs off too much, he's not got a whole lot of health, and he's going to get caught by Birdring. Overtime! Oh, he keeps getting so close!
Jen is back over the top. He's just going to try to dance around. Now he's got some reinforcements. Meko into the mix. Now the team is back here. Soldier 76 put on his jogging shoes. He's back there, but they are all dying. I believe this is where the payload stops.
And yes, sure enough, they came close a few times there. That overtime wick, but it is going to be a hold in the end. 2 points collected for the New York XL on the push. And now we're going to swap sides and see what the London Spitfire are capable of.
You know, overall, we mentioned that, you know, not the greatest stick. Going to game 5, it doesn't mean anything for the stage 1 playoffs, but remember, the Overwatch League is a long season. This is just stage 1. So getting a match win is huge. Getting a match win against one of your biggest rivals is huge. So we may have downplayed it a little bit. There's still a lot of pride on the line, a lot to play for. So perhaps London wants to send this to game 5. The counterpoint to that was, you know what your seeding is. You know you got to play again. Do you really want to play 2 more maps to their entirety here? But in the grand scheme of things, stage 1 isn't the giant prize. It is the Overwatch League Championship, and every match counts for that. So the match is not even over yet.
This is where you start to tell the difference between online play, LAN play, and more importantly, playoffs. You have to start thinking about the long game. Think of this as a marathon. Husbanding, is it worth burning the energy now? Should I keep it for later when we're getting into the finals here? All of these little decisions, and that just comes from experience, Hex. It's how often are you on that stage? How often are you in these situations? You have to know it in your gut what you have to do at that moment. And so London Spitfire right now and New York XL, they're getting the class. They're in classroom right now, you know, taking notes.
Attackers incoming.
Exactly.
In 30 seconds.
New York is going to be on the offense. Defense setting up right now for the London Spitfire. Looks like they want to go to, or excuse me, other way around. London Spitfire setting up their offense. Looks like pure dive. Yeah, this is kind of how the meta has developed here on Dorado. This is your typical defensive setup. You're going to run a Junkrat and a Widow and an Orisa. Offense going to dive into you. Who gets the better of it? Where's the target selection? The micro matchup you want to look for here is Prophet on Genji versus Sabiobi on the Widow. It is his job to dislodge Sabiobi, or at least cause him to look around and be uncomfortable.
Exactly what we saw Janice doing as well on Ilios. Get in there. Well, Man, Prophet, he doesn't even have time to get in position to start looking for the kill on this Widow before Saviobi goes to work. He is definitely checked in with his time card. Quick spawn, however, of course, for the London Spitfire. Birdring not going to have too much ground to cover. Mako is there to get the D-Mech. Wu Yo is out of the fight now.
Already a pretty stout defense here for the New York Excelsior. Being able to get a couple kills while still holding this high ground. I like the aggressive positioning of the D.Va on the cart to make sure they don't get any free push. Every inch has to be fought over. He's also got the Zenyatta orb on him, so he's going to feel rather safe down there. Jump comes in. How well are they handle the catch? Prophet on the flank, had to deflect early on, so his damage output was null.
Yeah, not fantastic. He does get a juicy slash there, or a bit of a dash. Right through all those targets. Saviobi down to half HP, has to worry about Prophet in the back line, and Prophet's gonna find Zonak. In the meantime, he has been spotted out. Saviobi does get topped up, but that costs Arc his life. And this will be a collapse of the defense, certainly.
A lot of it's just about the pressure on the Mercy. She has to dance for her life, have to fly around, and that means no healing going on for anyone else. They get absolutely cut up while we're watching that little duel there. Everything goes the way of the London Spitfire. Should be able to push forward here. New York is actually posturing like they want to come back in, and I believe they will. The tanks will start it off.
Yeah, there's Gesture even turning around, trying to avoid the headshot. I like it. Get that body onto the cart. Get that progress halted. Prophet going for the hack and slash. It's a real horror show. 2, 3. He's doing the work. Oh, and he nearly gets a kill on Zonak before Birdring just robs him at the end.
Oh, it's like my free-for-all matches. Just kill stealing, kill stealing, kill stealing. I did all that damage. I don't get the credit for it. We all know who the real hero was.
Listen,
in this case, it was Prophet.
This is a team game. It's a team game.
Free-for-all is not. It's not a team game at all.
I is not in team, but it is in Prophet. I don't know where I'm going with that. All right, so the man, he definitely did the work there. London Spitfire. This is what it's all about. You know, you doubt them, you think, oh, they're looking a little cold here, they're looking a little wilted. No, they're just patient. They're waiting for the moment to pounce like tigers and tear their opponents to shreds. As we all long fight there versus D.Va. He is going to get the D-Mech, though.
A fight-winning pulse bomb came down there from Birdring. Arc and Jonak out of the mix. Get out. They push all the way back to the cart here. Continuing to get a lot of free push down here. And this is the pulse bomb setup, just hiding so patiently.
Yeah, this is so sick.
Oh, the triple blink across the bridge is such a cool tech.
You just never see it coming. Hey, and then they both jump into it. Oh, Arc, that's the worst feeling. You got no idea, and then all of a sudden, hey guys, I'm here. Aw.
Just deception there. Just threw it on the ground. Everyone's like, I'm not stuck. Are you stuck? I'm not hit. Oh, no!
Well, he's got self-destruct as well. Out in the open here. Super solid. He's just going to commit to it. Get these guys off of his point. Gets the D-Mech as well. Meko not able to dodge it. You can't duck in that beefy mech.
A huge hold right there. New York will stop them just shy on the defense. 3 minutes left to go. Not a whole lot more progress needed for the London Spitfire. Of course, they also will get an extension when they get second point, if they get second point. But now defense in the position that they want to be in. A trap up top that's meant for anyone who tries to challenge Libero up here. It seems like the other angle has been the one taken. Rotations coming in from Libero to go help his team.
Wow. And just the Primal Rage fully committing into that. That's forced the wings out of Nuss. So they're back to even here as far as Valka's concerned. Will they actually find the angle, however? They are making progress on the point. The tables have turned. It's switched in terms of positioning. They've worked their way around the New York Excel. It's now on New York Excel to engage into this mess. And Meko, gone.
Yeah, odd positioning there. Janus fell out of that fight early. Dragonblade looking to finish it. He's just making monkey meat out of that Winston, but the Transcend comes in and saves it.
Nick of time. Jonak well played there to keep his teammates alive. Negate Prophet. No heroics this time for Prophet. I mean, right now you're trying to dance around if you are Janus, but it's not looking too pretty.
I'm just making them fight for every single inch here. Now they actually have a Valkyrie out too. We'll see where the resurrections come. Libero back onto the point. Not quite over yet for the New York defense. Getting very scrappy down there. Arc brings back another one. It seems like they have the Junkrat dead to rights in the corner down there. They do just that. However, Tank's still alive for New York.
A lot of damage getting pumped out here by Birdring. He wants to remove these tanks from the fight. Has to clear out of this angle. He does get far enough away. Arc! Just on the edge of the bubble. Keeps him alive.
Nuss goes down to that self-destruct too, and that is all the healing down now as Saviobi comes and finds Doshin. Janus knocks Birdring out of the mix, and New York has held. 90 seconds remain for the London Spitfire offense to try to force a map 5.
This is really ramping up, but Always, especially on this patch. This is the last time we're going to be seeing this patch, but keep an eye on Nuss, keep an eye on Arc. Nuss has now got the Valk, Nuss has now got the Reses. So that could be the turning factor here for London Spitfire going into this next fight. We've got Prophet with the Dragon Blade as well, and Jonak is not close to the trance. This could be it. We have to see. Prophet just fully commits into the fight with it. Unfortunately for him, he's right on the edge. Jonak hitting the volley. Jonak still alive. Prophet will eventually get the job done, but he gets help from his team to do it.
A little bit of help from his friends as they come flying in as the tanks to get in there. And London Spitfire have won this fight rather cleanly. Save Yobi's going to do what he can, but it is not enough. It is an Easter holiday as resurrections come out for London Spitfire, bringing people back to life. They will continue to push an extension on their clock. 2 minutes to go to hit to that white box of victory down there and send us to Lijiang Tower.
It's really not too far either. Look at how close that is. Not even around the bend. This is definitely doable here for London Spitfire. The only thing they have to keep in mind is that, again, they're behind in the Valk War. This time it's going to be favored to New York Excel. Jonak's nearly got trance as well.
The goal for this fight for London should just be to force out Valkyrie, and then you can come in clean on the next push.
Oh, well, there might be a chance. Oh, never mind. Libero deletes murdering. That's done. And well, Gesture, you're trying to tase him, but it's going to take too long. Nas and Doshin are out of it. And that's going to reset things here. Minute 20 on the clock, and great stagger coming through as well. Doing as much as possible to delay this next push, New York Excel.
Forced out no ultimates. Wow, playing right on the edge there. As Prophet, he's able to stay alive. Prophet, Blade, self-destruct, the things that Spitfire have to work with here. The problem is they have to blade into a transcend, and then Valkyrie will be out. Asking for a lot. I think you should primal rage into this and knock everyone about. Maybe knock the transcend around and give some room for Prophet to be able to get actual kills.
All right. Gotta keep an eye on him. Gesture might be going for that self-destruct, though. That's a tasty one! Libero and Janice are gone. Arc will be able to bring Janice back into this fight, and Libero as well, but both reses used.
Gotta be careful. Prophet's gotta be careful. He cannot die here. Estopop Blade at 25 HP just to get in the mix, make sure he doesn't die. Still not getting all the kills he's looking for. That Transcend is forced out. Giant tire.
That was a monster truck tire right there. Libero just rolled over him. That could be it. As Sibiobi finds Nuts as well. The healing throughput is out of this fight now for London Spitfire. They will get chipped down. They will get worn out. And New York Excel, 15 seconds left for them to hold here.
If they can get people back, that was almost a game-winning pulse bomb. Nuss is at 96% on the Valkyrie. He died as that fight went on. They just got to get a body over here. They don't really have anyone to be able to jump in. Gesture's going to have to pop this to get on the cart. Maybe not. They actually touch without it. Primal Rage there. Valkyrie popped.
Yeah, Valk has been popped as well. So we'll have that chain healing, that chain damage as well as the reses, obviously. Jonak decides to go for the trance immediately, trying to cancel things out. Prophet, no Dragon Blade here for him to worry about. Overtime has begun. Have to touch the point. Self-destruct out in the open, though, and that's going to catch Wuhyol. He was keeping the point in this fight, although Prophet has been brought back to life with Doshin.
Well, both resurrections come through for the Spitfire. They are at a good fighting force of 5 now. 5v5 on the cart, but Meko is out of mech, so that doesn't really count. He is dead. A self-destruct to zone out London Spitfire, trying to send us to a game 5 here. Still a couple alive for Excelsior. If they get kills, they're in a better reinforcement position.
Arc is flying high, though. He is keeping his teammates alive in this fight, making the difference. Res used on Libero. The DPS will be here, although Doshin gets the snipe on him. Overtime is still going. This fight is not about to end anytime soon, and Arc is positioning as well, doing a fantastic job of keeping his teammates alive.
They're using the cart for cover behind it on both sides of things. Murdering on D76 has worked his way to a tactical buzzer. He is cleaning up.
This is it, the big play, the turning moment, and they will make the progress necessary. London Spitfire will tie up the series 2-2. And it's only fitting, it's only natural that we go to game 5 to settle the score here.
Lijiang Tower, here we come. This was the match we all wanted to see. Perhaps some scores settled early on, but again, it is a marathon, not a sprint. London wants this win over XL.
They need to put them down. You're going into the playoffs. You might face again. You need to make your statement right here.
Yeah!
And there it is.
That's right.
Place the Venture Column out.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back from the break, everybody. It was a short one, and that is good, Hex, because we have map 5 coming up in this series. London Spitfire have seen fit to give us the full series worth of action to go the distance versus New York XL.
Giving the people what they want. It's absolutely giving me what I want. This is my favorite map in all of Overwatch. Lijiang Tower is my jam because it is Tracer Playground, and we got some of the best Tracers in the world going to be having at it. Although they've been playing some mix of different heroes today, this one should be a good one. And London still looking to just overtake their rival, just bragging rights at this point. And we're getting a match. We got 40 matches through the regular season, not just the Stage 1 split, which we've been so focused on today, of course. Both these teams will be in that Stage 1 split. Genis out, Mono in for this 5th and final match between our #1 seed and, well, whichever seed that London ends up being there. It's too much bad. They let the death deal with that.
2 or 3. They are going to be in the playoffs. That's all we need to know. Both of these teams are in the playoffs, and so it could be possible that we even get a rematch between both of these teams later on tonight. That would be straight fire, but we have to see here how things are going to play out. Of course, we have 4 more matches coming for you today, all of it being done. It is the last day of Stage 1. Lijiang Tower, the last map of this series, and I'm very curious to see, exactly for the reasons you pointed out, Hex, the variety here, the depth in these rosters. You think Saviobi is just a Tracer player? No. I'll play Soldier, I'll play Widow, I'll play all the things. He can just do it all. And so right now, London, they have to figure out, how do we handle this?
Well, it also is going to be stage dependent as well. It depends where we're going to go. If we end up seeing Control Center, that one throws everything out of whack. You see a lot of heavy tank play on that one too. It's just a different kind of map. The architecture is so different. You're fighting in closed quarters. That one is definitely the outlier, but we are going to start out here on the garden up top. Little digital koi pond there. And this often means that we will see Pharahs early in the mix, trying to knock people off. It's such a great angle. Anytime there's a giant tower, Pharah feels safe. You can hide behind it, you can concussion blast away. It's generally the architecture she prefers on these maps. And then it's going to be sky battle versus ground battle. Who wins the ground? Who wins the sky? And I think one of the big things is for Pharahs to chip in on the ground battle. You can spend too much time just shooting at the sky and hitting nothing, direct air shots. It's who flicks ones to the ground earliest to help out and soften up the targets for the Tracer on the cleanup. Both teams running very similar compositions. Though that Lucio is not just for the speed boost. London is going to run straight up a Lucio, trying to knock people off.
Oh yeah, they're already about it. Look at that, Wuyol ejects Jonak from the map to start their dance, and right on the edge, and there it is, the knockback, but he certainly has the boosters back up in time, yes, to save himself. Meko, however, he gets back up only to die horribly at the hands of Birdring. There is no justice.
Now the Sky War has been won early on. London Spitfire should be taking first control of this. They bullied back everyone else. Mono has to be a little careful. You never really know if that concussion is going to come out and knock you all sorts of terrible directions. Libero's still trying to focus on this air battle. Concussion doesn't do much there. Just a war of attrition thus far.
Yeah, Libero really focusing. Oh my god, he hits. There it is! That's why! Back-to-back rockets. That gets the job done, and Libero wins the air fight versus the Spitfire.
That's so huge to win that, because then there's really no one on the ground to be able to deal with the Pharah. Your best hit scan is going to be your Tracer. Sometimes you have to send your Diva up after them just to hope to get it, but a Diva's not going to be able to burst down a Pharah with a Mercy in their pocket. So once you win that, you just have aerial superiority in a large margin.
And
that's why he's so focused on
as well. He's up to barrage already here, so we'll see when Libero decides to get into that. And there it is, doesn't waste any time. Shreds the squishies instantly. Birdring and Goshen are out. Nuss pondering the meaning of life here. He's got Palk, but he's being forced so far back, he can't even get them back in. They respawn the old-fashioned way.
He had used Valkyrie early, but then they lost 3 people. At that point, they made the decision that bringing them back up in the position they were in would have just fed more ultimates. So just let them stay dead. A ultimate that ended up with absolutely 0 value. Meanwhile, Arc on the other side still holding on to his. They will have a sound barrier for the Spitfire and some ultimates to work with.
Exactly, and we have it going out right now here from Spitfire, trying to get into the fight as much HP as possible. Saviobi trying to whittle down that HP. Hanging around on the edge, trying to make sure that they can't get back onto this point. Gesture falls to the hands of the Tracer. Lots of damage getting pumped out here by New York XL, but of course that's what they're good at.
Valkyrie did come out in that fight, make sure that everyone stayed healthy, so that is an ultimate that the London Spitfire will not have to work with going forward, or deal with going forward, rather.
But they have Jonak on the trance still, right?
This is going to be Pulse Bomb battle right now. You've got both of these Tracers going to be lurking, trying to hit Pulse Bombs, trying to end fights before they even begin. Ooh.
one clip.
Doesn't matter, does it the old-fashioned way, still taking down Bidoshin. Now he's still got his Pulse Bomb ready. Pulse Bomb is generally, you know, save it for Mercy. Maybe she'll fly to her team, maybe give you a double.
Yeah, you can just recall out of harm's way. Now you just play patient, wait for that to come off cooldown, and there we go. Sivyobi making sure that London Spitfire really can't find those angles to work in on. And of course you've got Libero reigning on high, reigning in these rockets one after another. Ocean, get out of here!
Forcing the Mercy to go back and heal the Zenyatta means these tanks on the points are going to be very low health. Valkyrie already popped out of Nuss, trying to keep people alive. Jonak off of the edge though. It means they're not even going to be able to resurrect him when Arc gets to his resurrection. I think New York probably holds this res, knowing the position they're in, they're going to back out.
You were thinking it was shaping up so nicely there for New York as well, considering they'd really succeeded in cutting London Spitfire in half. They've got the back line all the way over near spawn, whereas the tanks are on the point, and yet somehow they managed to pull off that win, get that flip London Spitfire.
Ooh, that's tough to lose Jonak early. You don't really want to have to resurrect that. They're going to wait. They're already so far back in spawn that there's no reason to go in. They only have to win one more fight. They're at 99%. I want to see if Meko goes for the strategy of the self-destruct over to the Fire Mercy. They're out in no man's land over there, and if they go to this right side, there's not a whole lot to even concuss off of to get out of sight lines. Meko might try to line it up and do the anti-air self-destruct, which is so effective on a lot of control maps.
And which is also very cool to see. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
I mean, Libero's kind of dancing on the edge as well. If he gets close enough, he might decide to go for the barrage.
Prophet's alone.
These angles.
Ooh, falls
There's the
in.
trance. Keeps him alive, and the self-destruct has come through. Just killed all over the place, forcing him off, bullying him. Libero eventually, there it is, already wins that duel. But the damage has been done in the meantime by the XL. They flipped the point back their way. Nobody here to challenge, and it will be New York XL going up 1-0 on this overtime map.
Justice reigns from above, but that water spout from the ground took him down. Beautiful counter barrage there on the ground. New York XL one stage away from securing victory here over the London Spitfire. And we are headed over to the control center, so we should see a mix-up of sorts. You'd expect to at least see Junkrats here. A lot of times, though, this is one of the few maps that you see Zarya picked on consistently, and I love it because I'm a huge fan of Graviton.
You get those situational heroes, right, that really stand out here, stand out there. Lunar, we get to see more Moira and you know, Sombra, and in this case, cool. We actually look like we have Wulial who's going to lock in Zarya, so you get your wish.
Yeah, and Zarya's kind of a soft counter to a Junkrat too, because you're going to charge up on all that splash damage he can't control. You shield your allies, you shield yourself, and then you get more energy, and you just really turn into a monstrous Ghostbuster.
You might as well be the fourth DPS at that point, because you're still running so much hurt. Let's go. Wulial kind of dancing very patient on his side of things. He is getting pressure though, eating up those nades and already up to 23 energy, so that's solid. Making progress. Birdring, however, taking advantage of these angles. That sets it up for Doshin to work with them and take down Arc to start.
Arc is out of this mix. Prophet does go down though, and even though Arc fell first, New York, Excelsior are pulling it all the way back. It's several swift kills in a row. No resurrection available. And what you really want to see after the first fight from this kind of tank-heavy composition is where are the tanks at ultimate-wise? Because Earthshatter and Graviton should, in theory, if executed even halfway correctly, win you fights. They're both halfway there. We'll see what the next fight goes, but they just didn't have the zone control after losing a couple players there.
Yeah, they had good communication on New York XL to just hunt down those low HP targets, not let them get away, not let them reset. Echo kind of dancing around on the edge, gonna go ahead and top himself up, and he's controlling that high ground. Birdring has to back off and give ground. Not gonna be able to get the perfect positioning for the Deadeye later on, or at least he has to be patient about it. Libero with the tire over the top, hunting for the back line, hunting for the squish. No, shit and Prophet out of it, and that oh no, Nuss pops the wings. Or no, it doesn't pop wings, but goes for the old-fashioned res. They go hand in hand, you know? You just assume, oh, he's got the res off.
It will soon be over, don't worry about it. All right, for the next fight, Spitfire. 95% on Earthshatter, should have it up. You would like to be in control when these come up so you can hold front door with your tank ultimates rather than trying to engage in them. Mono should know that this Earthshatter's about up, and he needs to be hiding and saving his bubble so that he can drop it down and protect his team from the shatter. Instead, he's gonna get aggressive on it. Maybe it'll be on cooldown by the next time they fight. It looks like London's gonna take it slow, and that's the position you're forced to with this composition. You have to go slow.
a lot of the patience. But, you know, when you've got a six-pack on the line, you're willing to work for it a little bit. I'm looking at the trap there. I see what you're doing, observers. Who's going to get caught? Who's going to get a mind trap combo? But they managed to dodge it for now.
Really, look at these tanks. It's really smart playing high ground early on. They don't want to just walk into a shatter. Right now, though, that walks into trouble. Able to get out with his life because he's Primal Rage. 1,000 HP, not going to die to that charge. Jester's been waiting and saving the shatter. Mono goes down. That means no shields up. Jester is going to fire this off if he gets any sort of targets.
Oh, but Savioli removes Wuhiel. He does get rest immediately, however, but Prophet is there to turn it back. And so London Spitfire trying to set up that hard point defense, and they will flip it. Arc not going to be able to get out of harm's way in time, and they have still held on to these key ultimates.
Super patient. It's going to be interesting to see if they hold this doorway. This is the door that you hold with this strategy. They can't come in. Look, they're already trying to rotate around. Actually, they're just trying to stay out of the line of fire there. But now you're going to have Earth Shatter or Grab. You don't want to use them both. That's a desperation ploy. One which hits 2 or 3 targets should be enough.
Just wait, just wait. Ah, okay, Libero with the tire, that's there. I could create a little bit of nerves here on the side of London Spitfire. Pushed up so far, it's gonna be a rapid in, and it will get picked up. Bird Ring hitting both shots, not gonna miss. And so they will get funneled in here. Wuhiel doesn't have a whole lot of energy, not gonna be like too much damage, but that could set it up here for the Graviton, still let his teammates do the work. They're doing a very good job of hiding, though, New York Excel, staying split up, spread out, so you're not going to get that monster combo.
This tank ballet is absolutely beautiful. Jester is worried about the Winston, doesn't want it to Earth Shatter into that shield. Wuhiel is worried about the Grab. Grab comes out, transcended through those so far.
They're not going to get much out of it, it looks like. Arc is there to bring Savioli back into this. He has popped the wings, and so he will be darting around, trying to keep him alive. We're looking for the big land here, Jester. He's spotted the target. Snipe! Mid-air, that doesn't stop it. Prophet is going to take mono as well.
So patient with this Earth Shatter. He's never needed it. He is just zone controlling this entire match. They did use Grab during that last fight, but that's fine. It forced out a Transcend at the very least, and they didn't burn everything there. However, Valkyrie did come out. Actually, both sides ended up using it, so not a ton to work with for NYXL. How are they going to set up this Deadeye? You need that shield down. If you can just line up the Deadeye and then they think they're safe behind the shield, somehow knock it out. Maybe Primal Rage can do it from Mono. That'd be an ultimate combo.
That would be a sick combo. But the coordination, it has to be here. And in the meantime, Gesture still holding on to his Earth Shatter. Oh, and I say it decides to come in. It is going to be the Diva getting batted around, but it's not going to be good enough. Savioli, however, looking for targets, but again, that shield. They tried to knock him out of the way, but it wasn't good enough.
Still, though, they are getting the kills that they need because of all the chaos that Primal Rage caused, and New York will flip it back last second.
Overtime, and Prophet dies. Nobody's close enough. They've done it. New York Excel will carry through and win in overtime versus the London Spitfire. Patient play pays off. And in the end, the number 1 seed. Well, it's just that good.
New York Excelsior, ever upward, number 1 seed, best record in the Overwatch League. Monstrous, a good performance of London. Close, but not close enough. We might see this one again.
Man, we're exhausted just watching and casting that. Now these players, they got to keep going on to continue playing today because the playoffs will be happening later this afternoon, guys. And so, both of these teams will be in it. You will not want to miss the rematch if it happens.
What an absolute treat. Some of the best Overwatch you will ever see on both sides. Play after play, clutch after clutch. There's too much to even call at any given moment. But you know who got to see it from a better vantage point is the desk. Let's see how they want to break this one down.
Congratulations to the New York XL for getting the W 3-2, but London Spitfire, man, they were fighting all the way until the end. I'm Golden Boy, your host, joined by Sideshow and Crumbs. And, you know, I mean, this was a particularly special win for the NYXL because, if I'm correct, the boys from the 5 Deadly Venoms are out there in the crowd as well. The NYXL fan club out here supporting in full force. Pretty cool stuff for them. But what a game, boys. That was insane.
They have a real, like a fully established fan club.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a group that gets together. I get invited quite a bit because I'm in Brooklyn. And there's a crew that like hangs out every single game day just to watch some New York Overwatch.
Well, they absolutely deserve their fans after this game as well. And they deserve that number 1 seed going into it. New York Excel read London Spitfire. They knew on Ilios that they would be diving into them, set up more defensively with Sebiolbi. They go into Dorado, and their defense was sublime, to be honest. London Spitfire, they always looked like they had a chance at winning it, but overall, NYXL coming out with the clutches more often than not.
Good to see Pine back into rotation here, and you know, we will definitely cover more of that as well. And as a matter of fact, Sideshow, I mean, we might as well get into the brunt of it, because while there were some incredible plays, some incredible moments from the NYXL and London Spitfire as well, we were getting a different look from NYXL going into that game.
We were, and the reason that I thought that London was perhaps favored going towards these last two maps of Ilios and Dorado, even though they're normally New York's kind of maps, is because I assumed that Pine would be coming in for at least one of them, because he normally plays the Widowmaker on Ilios, along with the McCree, and the Widowmaker on Dorado as well. And when they played Ilios, they had read this perfectly. So going into a telestration, just to break down how this works, I'm first going to point out the positioning of some people. So here's what we refer to as the backline. It's the supports and Sebiolbi. And Sebiolbi is on the Soldier 76. You can see him there. And this group of players is holding up on the high ground. And what that does to the London Spitfire is it forces Gesture to choose, does he want to dive the high ground or does he want to dive towards Pine? Normally when Sebiolbi is playing the Tracer, he will always pick Pine. That's the way to do it. But here, he has to contest the high ground, and he gets absolutely mulched. You see, as we play this forward, Gesture takes so much damage from Jonak and from Sebiolbi on the high ground, and Nuss pops the Valkyrie, goes in to res him, and gets destroyed as well. Here's it from Sebiolbi's point of view. So much damage coming out there, and then here comes the Mercy, destroyed as well. Just utterly obliterated. And I love this adaptation from the NYXL. We've never seen this from them before, and it's because they knew that London were going to try and dive into them aggressively and take out Pine. So they needed this second threat that London had to deal with.
Yeah, they put him in a tough choice. You've got 2 hit scans now, and typically we'd be going for Pine the whole way through, but now you have a threat just as deadly at the same kind of range that now has your attack visor as a result of that play, further giving your team way more points now.
And actually,
you have another
just to point out, when we went to Ruins as well, normally we think of this as Pine's map again, but once more the focus was taken away from Pine. Pine went 1 to 5 in terms of his kills and deaths over the course of the first half of Ruins, and Birdring was on 5 to 1. He was getting dominated in that Widowmaker v Widowmaker battle, and instead it was relying on Giannis and on Sebiolbi to pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, Ilios was just a crazy game. Good to see NYXL play the mind games with the London Spitfire. Give us something different. Surprise their opponents. That's what you want to see. But the surprises, man, the hits, they kept on coming. It was like the Backstreet Boys, just hit after hit after hit. Can't believe I made that on stream. I apologize, guys. Dorado. Now, we're going to have to talk about this because I thought NYXL had this. I thought that, you know, they were going to be able to maintain this hold. But it all really just came down to some exquisite plays on the London Spitfire side that netted them that victory.
It really did. London Spitfire, this is the kind of map that they enjoy playing. Doesn't quite play into New York's wheelhouse as much. London stuffed the New York attack again and again with this Prophet Junkrat around the left-hand side. The double threat because they can't peek into the wider sight lines because of Birdring's Widowmaker. And then when London were on the attack, it was all looking good for them, but they just couldn't pull it out each time. Nuss had a couple of dodgy Valkyries, and it looked like they'd thrown it away in the final moments, eventually able to get that payload across the line.
Oh, man, Birdring, pulse bombs for days. You gotta love it.
It just has such individual prowess towards the end of the game. You see here, Birdring actually swapped to the Soldier because the point was on overtime for so long. You might as well just sprint there to try to get there. And he had enough time to actually get the tack visor out of that play, which just shows how much they were really playing that OT.
Yeah, that fight lasted forever. You know, that final fight was just ridiculous how long it ended up going. But then we got game 5. We got game 5 because the London Spitfire were able to pick it up. And now we take a trip to Lijiang Tower, and Libero and NYXL proved why they are one of the best control teams in the league. I felt like they were going to come out on top.
I mean, he just hit 4 shots in a row of the aerial. That, like, you don't get more superiority than that. Like, if this game had hacks, you would want one that makes the exact same play that Libero just did. So when that play happens, when this individual talent shines through, everything becomes so much easier, and that's what was going on. And by the time that we got to Control Center, where the compositions are a little bit more varied, New York Excel, once again, just gets to have those individual skills, bypass the tankiness of the Zarya Reinhardt.
Just, I mean, again, NYXL, dominant team on Control. You asked me. We had a conversation in the middle. You said
who's favored or Legion?
And I said, you know what? I think it's going to be NYXL because they're a dominant Control team. And the reason why they're so dominant is because of our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. Transitions for days, baby. It's going to be Jonak. And this guy is a monster.
I mean, this guy is as anime as it gets. He wants to play you the most strong opponents all the time, emotionless killing machine. And just to give you a comparison as to just how much of an impact he has, he deals 7,000 more damage than your average Zenyatta over the course of all these games, 15 more final blows. His ultimate usage has become just sublime at this point. We saw it yesterday, I think, when he was blocking with the Transcendence, getting so creative. Just a legitimate final threat on your team that you can't account for it. You don't have a third DPS to deal with this guy.
And so, when you actually look at his stats here, the hero damage done is utterly ridiculous. Jonak pumps out more damage than...
Are we sure he's supposed to be healing?
It's crazy, isn't it? And it looks like he has a high amount of deaths there, but you got to remember that Zenyatta is always getting focused, right? That's only 6 more deaths than average for Zenyatta's, and he was playing against one of the best dive teams in the entire league.
And you know what makes this even better is the fact that when they ask him, just how'd you get so good? And he just says, I was just born with this talent. I don't know, I must have been gifted this ability.
It's phenomenal. He is an incredible player coming out of nowhere and powers the NYXL to a victory.
Really, and that is why he is our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP. Again, just what a game. What a way to open it up here for the last day of regular season action for Stage 1 of the Overwatch League. And while you may be losing your breath there and feel like you got to take a bathroom break, guess what? You can't, because coming up next is an even crazier game. We have the Houston Outlaws taking on the Boston Uprising, and we need to see which team takes that step into the Stage 1 playoffs. Don't go anywhere. Plenty more Overwatch action right here from the Blizzard Arena, and we'll see you on the other side.